La course, ça peut être difficile. Alors parfois, c'est cool d'emmener quelques copains. Welcome to France!
Hello and welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We are in France for round 9 of the championship as over 70,000 fans transform the small Bretagne village of Loheac into a jam-packed festival of rallycross. As the championship returns to Europe, it's not only the crowds that are big. The French round hosts the maximum entry possible with 110 competitors across the 4 classes this weekend. As the teams prepare to take on this classic RX track, let's take a look back to round 8 in Canada. Semi-final 1 was a tough encounter. Kevin Eriksson tank-slapped the 2016 race winner Timmy Hansen hard out of the Joker, and reigning champion Matthias Eckstrom received zero respect as he was muscled down to an eventual 6th place. Meanwhile, it was Kristoffersen dominating from the front, with Hansen and Eriksson joining him in the final. Semi-2 and Solberg grabbed the lead from the line, promptly vanishing into the distance. The real battle was for 3rd. Loeb and Block were side by side over the jump, and the American was forced to joker. After said jokers played out, Loeb held on to 3rd, progressing to the final behind Heikkinen and Solberg. The final, and it was a VW drag race off the line. Solberg and Kristoffersen were side by side all the way to the 2nd corner until Kristoffersen's inside line gave him the edge. It was Solberg who jokered first, with his teammate on a charge, aiming to put some clear air between him and his championship rival. Kristoffersen exited the Joker on lap 3, having done enough to hold the lead, and with it take his 3rd win in a row.
Yeah, that was really fantastic. It worked out really good, and won my semi-final and was side by side with Petter in the final. We had a nice drag race down to the 1st corner, and then into the 2nd corner I managed to get ahead of him. So, but yeah, everything really went according to the plan. I mean, we have the same plan here as we had in Barcelona. There's no reason to change it now, because that is the plan we had there is what brings us the point advantage we have now. But at the same time, we know that it's very tight. Everyone is quick, and for sure over a 12-round season you will have some problem at one weekend. So it's just to be ready for that.
That win sees Kristoffersen extend his lead at the top of the championship standings to 35 points. Solberg is 2nd, and current champion Eckstrom now a fairly distant 3rd. Canada also saw PSRX Volkswagen Sweden take their 5th win in succession and open a huge margin at the top of the team's championship. 2017 is looking like a blockbuster start for the team on its debut season. A new round and new chances. France could be just the place to fight back in the championships. The chasing pack will be looking hard for an opportunity to break the Kristoffersen's dominance, and luckily for them, Loheac's 1st corner provides the necessary variable factor. Turn 1 is a 90-degree right-hander, just a short blast from the line. The 2nd corner, a fast left onto gravel, is so close that steering wheels won't be straight between them, and contact is almost guaranteed. 4 times Kristoffersen will have to enter the 1st corner in qualifying. The question is, will he exit 4 times? One man who will be trying extra hard to stop Kristoffersen is the legend Sebastian Loeb. The Peugeot Hansen driver is on home soil in the famous French Mark and will be fully charged and ready to race. Loeb is in good form too, with 3/3 in the last 3 rounds. He makes it through to the semi-finals 95% of the time, 60% to the final, 35% to the podium. And of course, he stood on the top step in Latvia in 2016, his only win. Last year was also a podium finish for Loeb in France. He will want to take that top step in 2017.
I feel feel okay. For sure, it's an important event for us, for Peugeot, for me. It's France. It's a local event, and it's also, I think, the most popular event with a lot of spectators. So for sure, the atmosphere here is incredible. So I'm looking forward to be on the start line. Here, I think it can be a track where we are quite good. It's a track that suits to our car. Last year, I did a podium here also. We had, I think, quite a good performance in the last races, quite consistent. Hopefully we are able to make a fight. We will try for sure.
Fellow countryman Jean-Baptiste Dubourg will be trying to emulate his 2015 success, which saw him take his best ever World RX result, finishing third behind race winner Timmy Hansen, and then champion Peter Solberg.
2015 was one of my greatest memories of my career. It was an unbelievable weekend. I finished on the podium behind Peter and Timmy. It was so exciting, you know. I enjoy a lot this race because it was amazing. Each lap, I enjoy each meter of the track in front of your home crowd. It's so amazing. There is a lot of fans, and it's very special for French driver. You know, you have more power when you feel this crowd around the track to catch you in the paddock, want to take a picture, a selfie. It's amazing, give you much power. It's amazing. I love this race, I love the crowd, and I hope to give them a good surprise. Why not?
It's fast and often brutal. Let's take a look at the track here at Loheac. The northwest corner of France is where you will find the fantastic circuit of Loheac. Literally 70 metres over a kilometre long. You can't believe you can pack that many fans around such a short track. We ride on board with Sebastian Loeb through the first right-hander on tarmac, then into the left on gravel, but it's not really gravel here at Loheac. Look how dark the road is. It's rubbered in, it's very abrasive. This place eats tyres. He comes around the hairpin right. If you continue left there, it's a long, very fast right-handed sweeper, but he hops over the jump into the Joker, pop the curb on the left and on the right. You can see the cars to your left over the barrier, and you know whether or not you're going to make this merge. Shut the door if you're in front, ride the curb on the left, get the car in towards the curb on the right, and then hard on the gas and over the line. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2. The best of the action from qualifying 3. It's crunch time in Q4, only the top 12 qualify. Then we've got the penultimate final of the season for RX2. Only the top 3 will go through in the live World RX semi-finals. The European Supercar final is up next. Then the biggest race of the weekend, the World RX final live. Q1 in France almost saw an early debut for Alistair McRae. He was creeping as the lights changed and released the World RX supercars to turn 1. The first race was a battle of the last 2 years' winners here. Johan Kristoffersen getting the jump into turn 1. Timmy Hansen was the first to joker and push very hard through the narrow jump left-right sequence. But a first sign that Peugeot might have closed the gap to VW came when Kristoffersen had to push equally hard to beat him, running wide on the penultimate corner and allowing Hansen to tailgate him right to the line. Ken Block wasn't keen on the result of the draw for Q1, starting on the outside, but he made a great getaway and held on to the whole shot in the Focus RS RX after some turn 1 contact. Solberg jokered early and Block responded to cover him off, but the American found a yet-to-joker Timo Scheider on the line as he merged. Solberg was in forceful mood and threw the VW Polo up the inside to eventually take the win. Old teammates Backward and Nittish were the next to go door-to-door, or more accurately bumper-to-door, as the sideways Latvian led the tidy Norwegian around the tight French track. Nittish didn't joker until lap 3, releasing Backward to go on a push for the win. He got the overlap and took P1, but the damage was already done and saw Backward further down the timesheets than he would have liked. Old rivals Kevin Eriksson and Kevin Hansen had a decent scrap into the first corner in their race, and later in the encounter newcomer Nico Müller showed he wasn't afraid to mix it with the regulars either. But the battling let Niklas Gronholm sneak through for second place to Eriksson, a great result for the Finn. Current World Rallycross champion Matthias Eckstrom and 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb were next to drag it out off the line, and it was Eckstrom who ended up leading. Loeb followed for a lap before deciding he had better pace and jokering. When Eckstrom rejoined behind on the last lap, the French crowd went mad. Loeb's time was just 1/10 of a second off Christopherson. Have Peugeot managed to close the gap?
I believe really now we are in the pace, we're able to win the race. And if we believe right now the changes we will do for Q2, I'm quite sure we can be fastest.
On to Q2. Race 3 saw a typical Loheac first corner encounter. 5 into 1 just won't go. An on-form Niklas Gronholm looked like he might grab second place at the Joker merge, but a little too much speed saw him drop down the order, while Kevin Hansen took the win. Kevin Eriksson tried another round the outside move on the way into turn 1, but it didn't quite work out. Ken Block beat his teammate off the start and wouldn't be bettered for the rest of the race. The American superstar enjoys this track and was on fantastic form in the Ford Focus RS, setting the fastest time of the weekend so far to top Q2 with just 1 race to go. The final race of the day was all about one man. Sebastian Loeb got the whole shot after squeezing Christopherson on the run off the start line, and he simply never looked back. He set 2 fastest laps in a row, one of which set a new lap record of 36.0, and when he exited the Joker on his final lap, no one could challenge him. For the first time ever, a sub 2 minutes 30 time for 4 laps of Loheac, a new track record to go with the lap record, and with it, the overnight top qualifier spot.
I had a good start, that's always crucial, but then I was driving my car, I could do exactly what I want with the car, just driving on my rhythm, and it was not fighting with the car, just cool drive, and the track has a lot of grip, and our car is fast when it's a lot of grip, but when it's slippery we struggle a bit more, so continue to push, continue to work, and hopefully we can continue on this level.
Sebastian Loeb then is the overnight top qualifier, finally ending the VW dominance, but they are right there. Johan Christopherson in P2, Ken Block a fantastic P3, Ekstrom's on the pace in 4th, Backrud and Solberg 5th and 6th, lower than they'd like to be, but they're still in the mix. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen with a brilliant drive in last year's car. Yannis Baumanis, Kevin Eriksson, Reinis Nittich and Topi Heikkinen are currently making the cut, but there are some very fast drivers looking to break into that all-important top 12. The European Rallycross Championship for Supercars has just 2 rounds remaining here in France and Latvia. Anton Markland is top of the class and could wrap the title up, but would need his rivals to suffer a bad weekend. He currently has a 19-point lead in the standings, but certainly hasn't had it all his own way. The European title has been hard fought all season long.
The European is very competitive. I think it's more competitive now than the last 3 years. Some really good drivers when you see Robin, you see me. We have Bryntesson and Magda, for example, who's stepping up from RX2 and touring cars. And then you also have the wide start field. You are having 35 cars now this weekend, and you know, one puncture here in your P35 in Q1, then it will be really tough. You have to do no mistakes at all, and you will just have to carry the car to the finish line every time you're on track. I will need 12 points, I think, to be clear before Riga, but Robin is very strong, and I think I'm strong as well. So, to be honest with you, I think to be European champion already this weekend, it's I will need to have Robin having some issues and some technical problems or whatever, and I really don't hope that he will have it, because I want to win it on track. I've had a great season so far with 2 wins and 1 P2, and I just want the podium streak to continue and keep on drinking the champagne on the Sundays. So yeah, we'll see. I'm relaxed, and I'll just come here and have fun and hopefully do a good result.
RX2 also has 2 rounds remaining, and Cyril Raymond, racing at home here, has won 4 of the 5 races held so far. He has a 14-point championship lead, but is keen to move up to Supercars next year. To make that dream come true, he knows which step of the podium he wants to be on.
I have to win. If I want to go up in Supercar, I want to show the maximum, my best on the track. It was a very, very interesting years for me. I improved a lot my feedback on the car with the mechanic. It's not finished, but it was my job. So I will see for the next year, but I think I do my best for sure. It will be a very special moment this weekend. A lot of fun, a lot of people, a lot of pressure for sure. Dan Rook is a very good driver, so I have to push at the maximum, at the limit of the car, of the limit of myself. So yeah, I'm happy, but we have to finish the job.
Hello from Loheac in France. My name is Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary this weekend is Andrew Jordan, who of course is a BTCC driver who moonlights in the World Rallycross Championship. Neil Cole will be reporting from the paddock. This is how it stands after Q2. Sebastian Loeb has set the local crowd off as he is overnight top qualifier from Kristoffersen and Block. Down at the bottom end, look, Nitish and Heikkinen in danger of going out. Scheider, Gronholm, Timosyanov, a whole host of names trying to get in. On to Q3, and you can see for yourselves the weather changed massively overnight. Rain, as predicted, super slippery. Hervé Napic-Lemonnier took the first one. Race 2, very slippery start again, down into turn 1. Around the outside, it was Alistair McRae who was trying to take the lead. That unfortunately didn't work out for him. A little bit of contact almost into the last corner. De Bourg holding on there. Niklas Gronholm continues to learn his craft in Rallycross. He's been fast this weekend, but De Bourg did beat him to the merge. Through the left and then the right. Gronholm doing a good job of holding onto the car. De Bourg took the flag. On to the quick boys, 15 of them still to come. Turn 1, look, everybody running just a little bit wide. Nitish all the way off in the dirt, tags Ericsson. Ericsson goes really sideways into the gravel trap, gets hit again, but that was as a result of Timosyanov hitting Nitish. Buried in the gravel trap, unusual to see a World RX car unable to get out, but it was deep in the kitty litter. Through the left and through the right, you can see the inputs. Heikkinen took the win. In this next race, we've got both Petter Solberg and Timmy Hansen. Here are their stats. 2017, look at that, actually pretty similar in terms of results. Better result last time out for Solberg in Canada. 18 times they have met on the track. 78% of the time, that's gone Petter Solberg's way. That's a pretty damning statistic, and that shows you how fast the PSRX Volkswagens are. Semi-final race wins, look, 4 for Solberg. 1 win for Solberg, 17 qualifying race wins. But don't forget, Timmy Hansen has made every single final this year. Race 4 of Q3. On the inside, Matthias Eckstrom, Kevin Hansen having a great run so far this weekend, but he hasn't been out in the wet in a timed session. Petter Solberg, Nico Müller, again another man making his World RX debut, and Timmy Hansen on the outside. Wipers on for everyone. Green flag from the marshal, ready to race comes on. Who's going to get down to turn 1 first of all? Oh, it's a great start by Kevin Hansen, and by Solberg's been left on the grid, so Solberg looks like he's stalled it on the grid down into turn 1. Muller's going to try and go around the outside. He won't go around Eckstrom though. God, he's been turned, so Muller's been turned around. He hits, well, he doesn't quite. Is he going to be in the wall? He just holds it out of the wall, guns the throttle, and he's away. He'll be behind Solberg, look, who's got going in the background, but Eckstrom takes it down to turn 3.
Both the two Audis got cracking starts, didn't they? So you think they had similar settings, but really unlucky for Muller. Nothing he could do there. He got slotted in behind Eckstrom and got turned around. But obviously you have to see the replays to see what really happened there. But very unlucky for him. Eckstrom, I would think, will be very strong in these conditions with his experience. He's quick in everything, isn't he? But now we've seen, look how much dirt's been dragged on here. Look at all the dirt on the tarmac section. So as the qualifying session goes on, the track is getting slower. But also, obviously, the big story is Solberg. Yeah. But now with Kristoffersen in the next qualifying run, start strategy, start RPM, that knowledge will be getting passed on to the next race, won't it?
Kristoffersen is so switched on. I spoke to him after Canada and he said they were held on the grid for an extra amount of time. He noticed a couple of temperatures had gone up on the engine, so he went up a click on the start RPM. You know, this guy has just got so much headspace to get things right, and as you say now, a cheeky little advantage from his teammate Solberg having a problem. Kevin Hansen doing a brilliant job here in last year's car. Kevin was P8 overnight, just behind Timmy in this year.
And I think Kevin's always very strong in these conditions, always very neat and tidy, very circuit-like, doesn't have the car out of shape a huge amount. Here, look, quite a bit of understeer to get it turned in, but then that's going to give good traction because the rear isn't coming round. So he's always very strong in these conditions.
The look at the rain on the camera lens, that would suggest that the conditions are getting worse for me. Petter Solberg, 39.7, he's on a big attack then, but I don't know whether or not he'll be able to find a way past Kevin. He's going to maybe get alongside him on the way down to the hairpin. They both jokered. Yeah, not going to manage it. And of course, they've tarmacked the exit here, which has given everyone more traction. Last year, we saw people running a little bit wide sometimes onto that back straight, and you could sneak a nose up the inside, but not this time. Solberg still harassing Kevin in the background. Kevin's done a good job there. You can see the inside of the curve, the extra red curve that's behind the serrated curve. That's been done this year, and that matches the FIA spec curves which were put into Latvia last year. So the drivers can run a wheel over. I remember I tweeted a picture saying they won't cut that. Kevin Hansen replied saying, yes, we will, and then sent me a picture of a big tyre mark over the top.
Yeah, don't challenge a driver to cut in a curve, because you'll always lose. But yeah, I was watching the Super 6 number of cars, and they were using a lot of that because it's smooth. So you go over the rough part of the curve, and then there's actually a smooth curve.
As long as you don't hook a wheel off the inside and pull it off the rim. Eckstrom comes out back in front of Timmy Hansen. The target time is 2:54.8, and that is Toppy Haken at the moment. So Eckstrom, team at Eckstrom, though, runs a little bit wide of the apex, straightens the car up and over the line. Done it by an absolute mile.
Huge amount, 8.7 seconds.
So what's everybody else playing at, with respect?
I have no idea, if I'm honest. That's a huge margin.
It almost makes you wonder.
There wasn't a huge amount of fighting or anything, was there? And, you know, Eckstrom had a clean run. He was out in front of his own.
We're talking same car, Haken, you know, we're talking Scheider, we're talking very good drivers. The umbrella's up. Does the rain that's increasing here mean they're now getting better conditions for wet? Either way, Eckstrom has taken it by 8 seconds from the previous time of Haken. And Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, Solberg and Muller. Let's see where they go in. Bang, top 4. That was Solberg with a stall, has gone into P4. He would have lost a few seconds at the start there. So, okay, let's have a look back at some of the action.
We want to keep an eye on the Audi with the pink on. So that's Nico Muller. So he sneaks it around the outside of Kevin Hansen. Look, he slots in there.
Ooh, Kevin gets into him there.
Yeah, Kevin gets into him, and Muller comes over a little bit. Let's watch from this angle. Let's look at, yeah. Kevin gets into him a little bit. Muller will feel a bit robbed on that one, because from where he's sat, he's got hit from behind. So, but it is slippy. You don't know how much the cars are moving. This is Solberg on a bit of a fight back, trying to cut under Kevin Hansen. Hancock did a little tap at the back, but that could be a good rescue for Solberg.
I was going to say he's had a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card there, because Solberg stalling on the line. Yeah, he looked like he was going to be nowhere, but then when Eckstrom wins it by 8 seconds, Solberg comes through in P4, and he's still right up there on the timesheets. The last race of Q3 is on the line, set to go, and it's full of legends. Sebastian Loeb on the inside set a new track record yesterday in the dry. What can he do in the wet? Johan Kristoffersen leads the World Rallycross Championship by a massive margin. Needs to have no problems in turn 1. Block and Backer are teammates alongside each other. Block with a brilliant performance for P3 yesterday in Q2. And on the outside, Yanis Baumanis, who has been having some pretty decent times this weekend. On board with Loeb. Clunks the car into gear, looks down to the wheel, picks those all-important settings. The crowd will want to see him into turn 1 first. They want to see him hit the checkered flag first, but that is a long way away right now. But it's a brilliant start by Solberg. Kristoffersen, though, as well, has got it hooked right up on the way down to turn 1. Loeb hooks the wheel over the curve on the inside, but Kristoffersen has got him down on the way into turn 2. Definitely gets it turned in. Can Loeb then get a bit of an undercut on the exit? He can't. So great start by Kristoffersen. Backward has a look up the inside of Loeb. He's got him. Big aggressive move. Now Block up the inside. He tapped backward. Block makes a good decision. Goes to the choke that straight away. Probably forced. Wheels coming off. Kristoffersen's gone backwards. So what's happened there? The Archer's coming off backwards car.
I don't know if Kristoffersen missed a gear, because he was all right going out the hairpin, then he suddenly slowed. Loeb might kick himself a little bit. You've got the start.
Baumanis muscles his way past Block. Sorry, Andrew, carry on.
Loeb then braked it a bit early, so he didn't want to overshoot it. That allowed Kristoffersen round the outside, but then that made Loeb vulnerable to backward. So backward with a very robust move. Look, front end's very damaged.
He was square alongside him at least. I mean, for me,
there was a gap there. Absolutely,
yeah.
It's just a robust move, but you know it's hard racing. There's definitely a gap. Loeb going for him now. Loeb doesn't look very happy, does he?
No.
You need to remember with Loeb, you just need to think. Baumanis goes over to the Joker. Just get a good time. You don't need to fight too much. You know, you're going to be there or thereabouts. But what happened with Kristoffersen? Because he was away. He was out of the trouble. He was gone.
Maybe we'll see in the replays. Backward leading it. Loeb at the minute was overnight top qualifier. Remember, him and Kristoffersen had a win and a second second each, but it goes on who was fastest in the last session. So Loeb got it by being quickest in Q2. Of course, if he's ahead of Kristoffersen here, that will mean then that he should hold on to that top qualifier spot, assuming these guys don't lose a ton of time to the guys who are behind them.
Yeah, Kristoffersen's got good pace though. Loeb looks to be backing him up a little bit. Kristoffersen will be hoping Loeb goes to the joke and frees him up for backward, which he does.
We saw what he does. We saw Tommy this morning with Johan's dad, and he was saying how much Johan likes the wet conditions.
Yeah, he's always super strong in these conditions. He was saying that the car's quite twitchy to drive in these conditions. It doesn't necessarily instill confidence on how hard he can push, but it doesn't exactly look like that, because let's have a look at the lap times. But look how much he's catching up to backward just on this lap.
I said to Johan this morning, it's going to rain. Is that good or bad? We were in their tent talking to him and Petter, and he goes, why not? Just raises his hands, you know, not bothered. They said last year he was always fast in wet conditions, but of course this is a totally different car. You've looked at the timing screens, and
best lap, none of them have gone quicker than Eckstrom has on a lap yet, so it's going to be close. Interestingly, on the start line, you could see Kristoffersen and Loeb had offset. They weren't centred in their grid spot. That will be to get the traction, so they're not on where the rubber's been laid.
And they both got amazing starts.
They've both got very good starts, so very switched on stuff.
Down to the merge. Loeb isn't going to get this one. He's going to have to give third best even to Kristoffersen, so Loeb slots into third. Backward comes around to the last corner. The umbrella's up. You can see how hard it's raining. He's not going to get Eckstrom's time. Backward takes the final race of Q3 from Kristoffersen and Sebastian Loeb. Block and Baumanis are there as well, and we'll have a good look at how they all slot into the finishing positions for this one in just a moment. The poor crowd here, it's absolutely massive. We had a massive crowd for Friday night free practice. We've had the same on Saturday in the sunshine, and they have come in their droves in the rain. They wanted to see Loeb on top. I think he might still be on top anyway. Let's have a walk. No, Kristoffersen's beaten him. So no, I think Kristoffersen will go TQ. Andreas Backerud takes this race. Kristoffersen then from Loeb. That could be for the top qualifier spot as we stand. Ken Block in P4, Yannis Baumanis is in P5. There's where they go into the Q3 standing. So Eckstrom and Timmy Hansen, the fastest of the bunch. Backward, Kristoffersen, Loeb and Block all doing a good job. That's going to see Ken Block right up there. Yannis Baumanis goes into P8 and he was P9 overnight, so it's another good job from the Latvian. Kevin Hansen is up there too. Andrew Jordan.
So Loeb got the start and Kristoffersen comes alongside him, sits out on the outside. Loeb gets the handbrake to get the car turned, but now this is where the action starts. So Loeb's a little bit offline because Kristoffersen. Backward sweeping it around the outside. He sees a gap, brakes late, struggling to get it stopped. Gets stopped, a little bit of a hit there over the curb. I think Loeb might have a little complaint about that because it was quite a big hit, but Backward saw the gap and went for it.
He did see the gap. My question is, would he have stopped it if there wasn't a car in front? Because to me, that was later. Yeah, there it is. Is that Loeb on the braking zone down there? You saw his eyes go wide just a little bit. Hello, what's going on here? So he felt the contact, didn't even look across to see who it was, doesn't have time. It was Backward, and despite missing that front left wheel arch, he managed to take the final race, but he did not go fastest in Q3. Peugeot then will need to work on Sebastian Loeb's car if they want him to take the top qualifier spot, but as it stands, he's right up there in P2. It is Kristoffersen who goes up to P1. He dropped down to P2 overnight, despite Eckstrom winning Q3. Eckstrom is up there. He was in 4th. He's now in 3rd. Backerud, Timmy Hansen, Ken Block, Peter Solberg, Kevin Hansen continues with a brilliant performance. Yannis Baumanis, Topi Haken and Timo Scheider and Reini Snittisch are all inside the top 12. And we have one more session in very tricky conditions to come. Well, as is customary with the World Rallycross Championship, we have sent one of our fantastic cameramen out to capture some pictures from various points over the weekend. This, I think, looking at the conditions, is free practice on Friday. Very, very slippery. Andrew Jordan, Rennie Munich has come here with the Seat Ibiza rather than Peter Solberg's old DS3.
Yeah, so a different car for him. He changes cars quite a lot, doesn't he? But he thought this would be a better package for around this circuit. As you say, look, the gravel hasn't cleaned up much. Kevin Hansen coming out of the joke. You can see the rubber starting to be laid down onto the floor, and that just gets more and more as the grip increases over the weekend. But very slippy practice for these guys on Friday.
Really, really difficult with the dirt. Still on the dirt section, but worse than that was the fact that that dirt then got carried onto the tarmac. and that means then it's very, very hard to find the grip you're looking for.
So Eckstrom here, you could see the rear wheels just locked on the way, and he tried to get the car rotated, but watch again, he's got a bit of understeer. It hasn't turned as much as he wants to. There, look, rear wheels locked, brake lights on as he pulls the handbrake, trying to get the car rotated. Then he lets it go. That engages the drive again. A little bit deep in there for Matthias, but you can see it's very dirty, so I'd think on the damp practice, but this is a really cool one for Sebastian Loeb. Just look at the left front wheel. Every time over those curves, look how it absorbs it through the wheel, but then the body isn't moving at all. So from in the car, that's exactly what you want, is the wheel to be doing all the absorbing over the big curves around here at Loheac, but keeping the body very, very still.
And that is the line you want through that left, isn't it? To get the car then hooked up into the right, you've got to be so patient in slippery conditions. Now, this was later dry conditions. This would be Saturday morning's practice. Rainy Snittish over the jump. What a hard joker lap this is.
It is. It's a big jump into a very fast left-right chicane. You can see Raini's there, just uses the curb, but we're going to see in a minute Johan Kristoffersson, and the difference is he sets the car up as he launches. So Rainy Snittish then over the left-hand curb and then through the right. But look, here's JK as he flicks it up over in the air. He's already turning the car left, so as he lands, he's got the car pointing towards the apex to the left on the joke. You can see big steering input from his hand there. The car absorbs it very well. You can see then he straightens up, but a lot of that comes from having the car set up in mid-air, in mid-flight over that big jump to take the joker. He clips the left-hand curb, and then he'll flick it right round the right-hand curb. So there's lots of different techniques mid-air.
Lots and lots of research and development has gone into the VW Polo course over the years in the World Rally Championship prior to coming here, and you could see that from the way it squashed that jump. Solberg into turn 2 here, just after they've gone to gravel, and here we can see the gravel has started to sweep.
Baumann is there, you can see the rubber's really been laid down. He's a little bit wide though, although it looks a bit muddy offline, so this could again be the Friday practice. All 4 wheels spinning, trying to pull him straight. Beautiful slow-mos around here at Loheac. It really cleans up to be very much a tarmac circuit, but great, great action from the supercars.
Here's how they stand ahead of the final qualifying session. Johan Kristoffersson leading from Sebastian Loeb, who's going to take that top qualifier spot. Eckstrom, Backrud, Timmy Hansen, Ken Block, Petter Solberg, Kevin Hansen. Both the Hansens up there. Janis Baumanis, Topi Heikkinen, Timo Scheider and Rainy Snittish are currently in. Niklas Gronholm, look, Kevin Eriksson is out. Timothy Yarnov is out. On then to the early races of Q4. Alistair McRae, a no-show in this first race. Unfortunately, his first World RX weekend ends early. Kevin Eriksson had a fantastic start. Yarnov not quite so good behind both, those two needing a decent result. Can see how atrocious the conditions were, way more slippery than before. Unfortunately, Kevin Eriksson suffered this spin. He was collected by Timo Yarnov. Timo Yarnov made this mistake himself then in turn 2 on the very next lap. Disaster for those two. They're not going to make the semis. Niklas Gronholm was in the next one. He was P13 coming into Q4 and desperate for a good result, but he would need an excellent result to drag himself up into that semi-final spot. You can see again the conditions continuing to challenge. Schischrit locking up and running wide, taking Serrazan with him. We saw Emmanuel and spin off. Gronholm took the win. Timo Scheider on the inside in this one got the best of the starts down towards the first corner. Behind him, Rainy Snittish, Nico Muller as well. Here's Nico Muller around the outside of Herb Napik, the Monnier Napik tapping the barriers on the inside and spinning himself wide. This was at the merge. Scheider with a very, very firm slam of the door to take the win. Great drive. Q4, race 4, 5 very talented drivers on the line for this one. What can they do in the wet conditions? Kevin Hansen on the inside, Janis Baumanis, Petter Solberg, Andreas Backrud and Topi Heikkinen. Backrud has been given a penalty from Q3. The stewards decided they didn't like something about his driving. We think probably the pass on Loeb up at the hairpin. So he's had a 5-second penalty in Q3, and that's why we see him in this race in Q4. All these guys inside the top 12 at the minute. Andrew Jordan, what have you seen on the grid?
Well, we've seen quite a few people, haven't we, offset against the rubber marks. So Solberg, look, he isn't centred in his grid box, so expect a good start from him.
Neither is Heikkinen on the outside. What can they do when the lights go green? Oh, Solberg looked like he might have did the clutch again, but Baumanis slots in. Kevin Hansen has gone into the whole shot. Heikkinen's going to try it around the outside. We know that's not the best idea, and it hasn't worked out for him either. So Kevin Hansen leads this. What is Solberg going to do? He could joke straight away to try and get out. He knows the guys behind are quick, but it's danger.
Him into traffic. I would probably go for one lap at least, get a little bit of a gap, let the spotters see.
Backrud and Heikkinen both
let the spotters see what the gap looks like, so you don't want to drop straight into traffic. And Kevin Hansen will go at a reasonable pace. You know, he's very strong in these conditions, but you can see he's holding Petter up a little bit.
Interesting. Look at the lines they're taking on the curves compared to last year. And we talked about this earlier. If you've missed it, they've built up that block curve behind the bumpy curve, if you want to call it that. Kind of matches up with the new FIA spec curve for Rallycross that's in Latvia, but I think it's actually given them more track width as we see Baumanis giving it the big send in the background.
Also in these conditions, it almost helps. It's not like the cars on Wales, but it helps hook the car around a little bit, and if you don't get on it, you'll then either struggle with a bit of oversteer on the way in or understeer. You better Solberg to the Joker now. Solberg off the start, we saw him bog in Q3. He looked a bit hesitant on his clutch kind of release. It didn't suddenly come up, but I would think that's just so he's a little bit safer so it doesn't bog.
Solberg manages to come back out in front of Baumanis, who hasn't jokered, so that was a good call from them. He now has a couple of laps to get the hammer down and try and get in front of Kevin Hansen. And look at the gap, it's not a lot anyway. So Kevin Hansen might respond now, but that would drop him back into traffic. So maybe we'll see Kevin go right through to the end of the race. This one has a little way to play out. He is being helped a little bit by Baumanis backing them up. Maybe there'll be enough of a gap to slot into.
Yeah, I think Kevin might joker now. They know how quick Solberg is. They might just go straight away and try and cover off and get track position, and he proves me wrong. They're going to run to the end, so you were right on that one.
So Baumanis goes to the joke like that's released Backerud. So is Backerud now going to close up enough that when Kevin goes, he will have to slot in behind him? We're going to find out at the end of this lap. Look at Kevin, he's just so tidy. He's just so tidy and patient. And Backerud's made a mistake in the background, so Backerud makes a mistake. He runs wide, and that's played into Kevin Hansen's hands.
It just shows, doesn't it? You know, as soon as these cars go sideways in these conditions, it goes to slow motion, doesn't it? When Backerud was sliding then, he just couldn't get the traction, couldn't get the power down, whereas it looked much less spectacular, keeping it nice, neat and tidy, but you're just keeping the car driving forward all the time.
You're desperate for it to come back to you, aren't you? We saw Niklas Gronholm yesterday. He had that mistake coming out of the Joker again, and he lost a ton of time like Backerud there. Today, he rolled right off the throttle when the same thing happened, waited for the wheels to stop spinning, got back on it, and the grip came back.
It's going to be quite close to it with Backerud though, is it? Kevin's going to have to cover it straight away, he just gets it done.
So if Backerud hadn't made that mistake, he would have made it up into P2, but there you go. The man to watch is Solberg out front. The target time of Scheider is 2:53.1. He crosses the line and the time is 2:51.3, so he's gone a couple of seconds, 1.5 seconds or so quicker. Solberg taking it in tricky conditions, fastest time so far in Q4. Solberg rolling back into the holding area before they go in. Andrew, what sort of times are we looking at prior to from the previous session? Well, here we go. Solberg with a 2:51.3, Kevin Hansen 2:53.3, Backerud, Hakkinen, Baumanis. So Scheider looking pretty good up there in P2. Kevin Hansen and Backerud slotting into 3 and 4. And we'll have a look at a comparison between Q4 and Q3 in a minute to see what the times were like. Backerud was quick on the reaction time there, wasn't he?
He always is. He prides himself in his quick reactions. Toppy Hakkinen tries to go around the outside, gives a bit of space to the other guys, but then ends up in the gravel. Just look how wet this is. Solberg's time was 5 seconds off Ekstrom's Q3 winning time, and a lot of that is just look how much standing water. You can't lean on the car as much. It's going to be interesting to see what the guys do in the next one coming up. But Backerud just goes in a bit deep, doesn't hook it up on that curb like we were talking about, then scrabbling for grip, scrabbling for traction. Kevin, nice, neat, tidy job over the curve through the Joker lab. Quite an easy win in the end for Solberg, though. Nice, neat and tidy. Coming back to his own after a tough Q3.
It's the final race of the qualifying stages here for round 9 of the FA World Rallycross Championship. Loheac in France. Matthias Eckstrom on the inside. Timmy Hansen next to him. Johan Christophersen in the middle. Sebastian Loeb and then Ken Block. And look at these guys' positions. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Overall, they are all in this one. They'll be desperate to take that top qualifier spot. Realistically, we're looking at Christophersen or Loeb. Eckstrom is an outside shout if both those guys had a problem. So you're not seeing tyre graphics at the minute because, of course, yesterday was dry and today is wet, so we know they're on new rubber. Wipers on for everyone except Eckstrom. Away from the line, so Eckstrom didn't get it hooked up as well as he would have liked, but Christophersen's got an absolute stormer, and Sebastian Loeb's gone with him. Loeb gives him a rub on the exit. Right up behind him is Timmy Hansen. We're on board now with Sebastian Loeb. feathers the throttle down the back straight. Eckstrom looks to be up the inside of Timmy Hansen in the background, and he is. So Eckstrom gets the place off Hansen. Loeb is right up. There is contact between them. You cannot get closer than that.
This is a battle for top qualifying spot, isn't it, with these two? And Kristoffersen won't want to, you know, he's going to want to settle for points. He's championship leader, but those extra points could prove vital at the end. So he gets, look at that puddle, gets it neat and tidy on entry, but then runs a little bit wide mid-corner.
I think Loeb had that slightly better hooked up than Kristoffersen at the minute. Loeb is keeping it super tidy, but Kristoffersen has edged out a gap of just a couple of car lengths. We ride on board with the legend, the man that the crowd really want to see on the top step. Before we came in, we didn't think Peugeot would have the pace, but suddenly, in the dry and the wet yesterday, VW were looking vulnerable for the first time in 5 events.
Absolutely, they've really looked pushed on pace, and that's great to see as fans. We want to see that, we want to see them push. It was Block going really wide in the background, but that frees Eckstrom up. He's the only guy that's taken his Joker lap. Block's just gone into it now, but he was getting held up a little bit by Ken Block.
Kristoffersen dived on the brakes there really hard, Andrew. Did you see the nose of the car dip down? It was super aggressive, but somehow he's held on to it.
It's so tricky in these conditions, I can't describe, because you want to feel like you're going quick, and in these conditions, certainly with this much standing water, everything has to feel in slow motion just to keep it going, not sliding too much. But Timmy Hansen's going strong, isn't he?
He's got the measure a little bit, 4/10 quicker than him on the last one.
A split strategy here with the Joker lap.
I think they've got to if they want one of them to try and make it through. So when's Kristoffersen going to go? One of them's going to have to go with Kristoffersen, so Timmy's going to have to go with Kristoffersen. But can he edge Loeb? And this, of course, is about Loeb versus Johan Kristoffersen, and then what happens with the standings after that. Who's going to take the top qualifier spot here in France? Loeb stops out. It's super tight between him and Eckstrom, and he shuts the door, keeps the car perfectly straight on the brakes. Eckstrom is ragged and sideways behind him. He wants to get past too. Great job by Sebastian Loeb. That's the best he can do. Now it's down to Kristoffersen and Hansen.
These are all sensible guys, aren't they? They know they're going to be there or thereabouts. They don't want to fight too much. They certainly don't want to have contact and risk a non-finish. But Kristoffersen's lap times have been one very consistent, but one very quick as well.
Kristoffersen will have to head into the Joker lap now. Timmy Hansen will have to go with him on the gas. He slides the rear of the Polo wide through over the curve on the left and on the right perfectly. Just the right-hander to go. Where is Loeb around the outside? He's not near enough. Kristoffersen stays on his standard line, holds onto the car, hooks the curve into the left, through the huge puddle and around the right-hander, and this will be enough to secure Johan Kristoffersen the top qualifier spot, I'm sure, here in France. He crosses the line to take it with Loeb second, Hansen and Eckstrom close behind. Ken Block running just a few seconds back from the pack, but a brilliant performance by him. And Kristoffersen, 2.2 seconds faster. He wins Q4, and with that, he will definitely take that top qualifier spot here in France. He's third in a row after Sweden and Canada. Loeb will be disappointed, but it was a good fight.
Very much so, and it's not over yet. You know, that's only the qualifying stages. We've obviously got the semi-finals and the finals, but Kristoffersen just does everything right at the minute, doesn't he?
2:49.0 was the time for him compared to a 2:46 in Q3, so track's still a bit slower and we can see all that standing water out there. Loeb, Timmy Hansen, Eckstrom and Block, little problem for Block in that one, so we won't see him on the top page, but look at these guys, they're just so consistent, they're all right up there as we would expect, and I think we're going to see those guys at the sharp end of the semis and the finals later on today. Take a look back at the start. Was
this on board with Loeb,
yeah,
isn't it? So a little bit of contact. They were hooked together for the first couple of corners, and then Kristoffersen just started to get into his rhythm a little bit. You can see is there going to be a little touch at the hairpin. So Kristoffersen obviously brakes a little bit early, gets it stopped, doesn't want to make a mistake there. Just
look at this, it's so
all
close.
The way.
Yeah.
But Kristoffersen just looks ultra smooth, which we've seen, you know, in wet, dry, different circuits. He's so smooth. This is on board with Loeb, I think, through the Joker lap over the right-hand curve. Then just trying to look for that traction. This was a merge with Loeb and Eckstrom again. Nice, neat and tidy racing.
No one did anything stupid, did they? See, Eckstrom maybe had to check it up a little bit, and that's why he ended up backing it in. But, you know, fantastic job by Kristoffersen. He likes these wet conditions. It's going to be wet probably this afternoon for the semi-finals and the finals. Is it going to be Loeb or Kristoffersen, or maybe somebody else?
You must have enjoyed that race, because I know you like the wet conditions.
Yeah, I like the rain, and I have to say big thanks to the team. I do it every time, but this time really, because the car has improved a lot in rain. Maybe the lap times are not so much quicker, but I feel so confident in the car, and even that I had some small moments and stuff like that, but I'm confident to push, and yeah, felt really good, and Petter did also a very good job in his heat, so looking very good for the team, and now I'm looking forward for the semi-final.
Well, here are the standings after Q4, and it is Johan Kristoffersson who is at the top of the standings, having won both Q1 and Q4. Sebastian Loeb will take pole position in semi-final number 2. Eckstrom will be on the front row with Kristoffersson in semi-1. Timmy Hansen will be on the front row with Loeb in semi-2, so it's an all-Peugeot lockout for the front row in semi-final 2. Solberg will be on the second row, Backer at 2. Ken Block and Kevin Hansen, of course, those guys split odds and evens across the 2 semi-finals. Scheider, Baumanis, Heikkinen and Nitish have made it. Dubois, Gronholm, Timothy Timosyanov and Kevin Eriksson are out, along with everybody else underneath that number 12 spot. This weekend, cannot wait to see the World Championship semi-finals and final from here in France. But of course, before that, we have the small matter of RX2. Look at the crowd. They're sat there with all their Macs and umbrellas on. The rain has stopped a little bit, I think. The track is still very wet, though. These are the championship standings ahead of our second to last round in RX2. There is one more to go in South Africa, but what's really important here is the gap between Cyril Raymond and Dan Rook. Dan Rook has not qualified for the final. Cyril Raymond, the championship leader, is on pole position. If he wins this race here, he will have a gap of 31 points, and that will mean that he will be the champion at home in France with 1 round to go. That would be a fantastic performance. So let's have a look at the grid for the final of RX2. On the front row, Cyril Raymond and Guillaume de Ridder. Row 2, Vasily Gryazin and Thomas Holman. Row 3, Simon Vago-Sversen and Anders Michalak. De Ridder looked good in the semi-finals, but this is really all about one man, and that is Cyril Raymond on pole position. We have seen some mega starts from the back of the grid. You guys haven't seen those at home, but we've been watching things like European semi-finals. There is a lot of grip at the back of the grid. What can Raymond find from pole position? It's an absolutely brilliant start from Cyril Raymond. He's got a clear lead as he heads down the turn 1. If you're hoping not to get collected from behind, De Ridder stays out the back. There's a bit of argy-bargy. No contact, though, so far. Great driving from the RX2 finalist. Cyril Raymond leads, and he is 6 laps away, Andrew Jordan, from becoming the champion in the first year of RX2, of course, renamed from RX Lights last year.
He didn't show any pressure there, did he? No, he sat on the line. You're going to feel that added pressure. You're 6 laps away from winning the championship. Not only that, but winning it at home. So he got a great start. I'm sure we're going to see him just get into his rhythm. De Ridder in his semi-final was very quick. These two are in a class of their own, really, in the semi-final. Really wet conditions, as we can see. And even the tarmac section, look how dirty that is. So really pretty much muddy the whole way around.
Tricky stuff for these guys. Cyril Raymond has just enough space at the minute to avoid what I would call a takeout. You know, when someone drops it behind you, it's always nerve-wracking, isn't it? De Ridder's pushing really hard because he would like to take a win. Of course, De Ridder has had 2 second places in Sweden and Canada, wants to get up to that top step of the podium. But if he doesn't take the win here, then he's got to go to South Africa. In all likelihood, he'd win at the moment. Qualifying starter is not the point, is he? Imagine winning the championship at home in France.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and you know, he's really been the class of RX2 this year. So for him, it would be just such a great reward to get that and to get it at home. You know, the crowd get obviously massively behind Sebastian Loeb, but also behind Cyril Raymond, we've seen this weekend. So for him, it would just cap it off perfectly.
It would indeed. I spoke to him on Friday. You'll have seen some of that interview in the show earlier on. He came and had a look around the Loheac Museum with us as well. Absolutely fantastic museum here, and he absolutely loves his motorsport, but he has been incredibly busy this year, racing, of course, over in the States in GRC in their lights category as well as in the RX2 category of world. And a couple of times he said that's affected him, as we see De Ridder go into his joker lap. He said he was really tired in Sweden, where of course he had the problem in the final, and also he said he was really tired in Atlantic City, I think it was last time out in GRC. So it's good to get the seat time, but you've got to be careful not to burn yourself out as well.
Yeah, you know, there's pros and cons to everything, aren't there? And you know, you can't beat seat time. You can't beat in these cars, especially, you know, this is a one-make series. So yes, there's small things you can change on the car, but seat time is key. On the flip side of that, you don't want to do too much and be a little bit drained. But this is a great feeder series. You know, we've seen Kevin Eriksson, Kevin Hansen come out of this and then gone straight in and run right at the front of supercars.
He's made no excuses about what he wants to do next year. He wants to be in supercar. Now, of course, the advantage of doing both the State Series as well as the World Championship. Of course, as you're in front of a lot of people who are running supercars, I'd love to see Cyril Raymond in one. I know he's been in one, of course, in French Championship before. He was in one last year when he won the lights category and raced at Buxtehude. We know he can pedal. There he is, championship standings down in the bottom right-hand corner at the minute. That is a 31-point lead, and that would be enough with just 2 laps to go now for Cyril Raymond. He's the only man not to have jokered, and he'll want to take that quite carefully, but not too carefully, because he's got to win.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Of course he's going to want to win it here. You don't want to go to the final round knowing you've got to do something to win the championship. If he wins this, if he just keeps it nice and tidy, he's got enough of a gap, he's a real class act, keep it nice and neat, then he'll seal it as champion.
He said to me that he's been working with his engineer and they found a few things. And you have to say, of the lights cars, his looks the absolutely best sort here. He's got that relationship. Oh, there we go. So retirement there, unfortunately, for Thomas Holman. Pulls off to the side of the track.
Yeah, you know, touching on that, with it being a one-make series, there's only certain things you can change. You can't change huge amounts to suit your driving style. You have to adapt the way you drive, but also you know you've got to work on the little adjustments you can. So you know that's even it's more amplified in a one-make series to have more of an effect.
Cyril Raymond into the Joker lap. This is it, the moment of truth. Is he going to be crowned the champion of RX2 at home, or is he going to be picked at the post and have to go to South Africa to tie the title up? It's going to be way closer than he'd like it to be. Raymond will surely shut the door. He moves across. The crowd like that. He's got just 2 corners to go. There have been 5 rounds so far this year. Raymond has won 4 of them. He's going to take his 5th victory, and with it, the RX2 title at home in France. What a brilliant performance from this young man. Door open, he's done it.
Really impressive. What a guy, what a class driver. The way he approaches it, the way he handles himself, very, very well deserved.
Yes! Go on, Cyril Raymond. What a feeling, what a feeling. You know that feeling, Andrew, from the championship winning feeling is a year of emotion coming out of you, the effort, the doubt, the pressure.
You know, every season has ups and downs in it, but this is why you do it, is to you know, you enter any championship to win it. So for him to do that and to do it at home, you can see how much he's enjoying it, even with a little dance.
Now, we do have a slight problem in that he runs to number 13. And that's taken. Backwards got number 13, so if he does want to move up to Supercar in the World Championship, he may need to find a new number, but brilliant, great stuff, Cyril Raymond. Congratulations, a year of hard work, very well executed indeed. 8 championship points for Cyril Raymond. Guillaume de Ridder comes second with 5. Vasily Gryazin, good performance from him to come through into 3rd place. That's Gryazin's first podium this year. He was 4th in Canada. Great job. Begos Versa, Mishlak and Thomas Holman. Those are the points they get. And hopefully we'll have a look at championship standings shortly. And we'll be able to just confirm that he does have that gap that he needs.
It was all Cyril Raymond, really, wasn't it? Sat on the line knowing the pressure was on him, but a really clean start. I think these cars are quite tricky to get off the line. They're normally aspirated, so not a huge amount of horsepower, so you have to work the clutch a little bit. Then he was working out, trying to get a bit of a gap, like you said, Andrew, not having that danger zone of someone really close behind him, maybe trying to send a bit of a lunge down the inside, but kept it neat and tidy. It was all about him. Really tricky conditions. De Ridder went to the Joker, came out in a little bit of traffic, and who knows if that hadn't happened, how close it could have been. We saw it was close on the merge as it was.
That was Gryazin, who was super close, and that was the reverse merge. Look, he wasn't far behind when he took his own Joker. So these guys actually quite close together between the standard lap and the Joker lap, and the conditions here have changed all day long. It's going to be interesting to see how the world drivers. Listen to the crowd in the background, just that soft roar as they see the Frenchman come out in front. It was a big roar yesterday below, and it will have been a big roar again when he crossed the line, took the win, and with it the title. Look at that, fireworks for the champion. Fantastic. Fantastic job, Cyril Raymond. He could have won in Sweden. He was unlucky. Pinched a tyre, I think, off the jump, landing slightly wider than his standard line, and I think he hit a curb on the way out. So, yeah, unlucky not to have taken an absolutely clean sweep, but a brilliant job. 6 rounds, he's won 5 of them. He's got 1 to go in South Africa, and that will just be a victory parade. Crowd enjoying themselves despite, I think, I think it'd be fair to call this terrible weather today, Andrew.
I think you could say that, couldn't you? It's just been constant rain, and after the weather we had yesterday, it's a bit of a disappointment, but the crowd have still come out in numbers to see if their man Loeb can get a win in the Supercars.
Well, Neil Cole's actually managed to grab Cyril Raymond on his way back into the paddock, so let's head down and have a chat with Cyril now.
Cyril, you look very, very happy, and understandably you are the 2017 RX2 champion. How does it feel?
Feeling is amazing. It was an incredible final for me. Guillaume was very fast on the track. It was very hard during this final, but I pushed very hard in the Joker lap, in my last lap. But big thanks to my fan, the French public, French fan, everybody, my sponsor, Omer Holzberg MSC. Thank you so much. Thank you.
When you started the season, did you imagine that you would be this successful and to win with a round to spare here in France?
It was my target at the beginning of the season, and when I had a puncture in Sweden, it was very hard to win here, but I did it. It's fantastic for me and for my country, for my federation, for everybody. So thank you so much.
Félicitations.
Merci. Yes.
Great job, Cyril Raymond. There is the confirmation of that result. A 31-point lead over Dan Rook means that he cannot be beaten. Even if Rook were to win down in South Africa, he'd be a point shy if Raymond had a 0, and of course that is not going to happen. So Guillaume de Ridder third, William Nilsson, Simon Olsen, Tanner Whitten, Glenn Haug, Vasily Grice in your top 8 in the championship. If you look down towards the tail end of that, there's a lot of position still to be fought for. With that 1 round left in South Africa, I think it's raining again. It is. Look at the side of the Monster Energy rig, and you can see through the shot there as well as the water on the lens. It's actually raining hard. The umbrellas have gone up all around the circuit. There you go. You saw that shot a few minutes ago. Andrew Jordan, frantic changes to things, or pretty similar to before? You know, what are the teams up to?
I think pretty similar, if I'm honest. Obviously, it stopped raining, but the circuit's so wet. There's so much dirt and mud being dragged on. It wasn't going to dry in time. So the guys in the Supercar semi-finals will obviously have a good read on setup from the wet qualifying we've had today. It's just who's going to make the tweaks, and the start I think is even more crucial in these conditions because there's more things that can go wrong. You know, it's an even finer line, a smaller operating window to get that right RPM and launch system working correctly.
And we've seen some brilliant starts, as I said, from the back of the grid, from the middle row of the grid. Colin McMaster there, very well-known photographer out in the rain. He'll be taking pictures of who on the top step of the podium today. It is absolutely chucking it down.
It's quite dry in here, though, isn't it?
Look at that man, look, using his child as a rain protector. Surely
Poor
that's...
lad. Poor lad.
To be fair, he did have a good jacket on. I mean, you know. There we are. So Sebastian Loeb with the door open. They'll try to keep as much rain out of the car as possible. When the drivers don't like to get in until the last minute. I've noticed this a lot. And when you know, rally driving, you used to see Loeb and Co would be keen not to get wet, because if you get in the car with a wet race suit on, you end up with steamed up windows. Same with you. Yeah. You know, get in the car in the garage if it's raining. Try not to get any water in. So doors open, but umbrellas on top.
I don't know if these guys will have heated screens, and in our cars we have heated screens, but yeah, it's a fine balance. You don't want to be out getting wet, but also you don't want to be sat in the car waiting, because then you start thinking, what if this happens, what about that? So you don't want to be sat in there overthinking things, but you don't want to be getting wet boots, wet race suits to steam up the car.
Especially not in these conditions. There are the Peugeot Hansen squad, who will have been very busy. All 3 cars in the same semi-final. They're all in semi-final number 2.
And 2 of them on the front row. So that will have been interesting. I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall sat in the pre-briefs of that on what the strategy was going to be.
Kevin Hansen just taking a few quiet moments to himself there. You know, Kevin's done brilliantly, I think, particularly this weekend, when you bear in mind he's in last year's car, and we know there's been a significant step up in performance. What would he do in the very latest spec? There you go, just about to see a reflection of a Monster Energy claw in standing water. You know, is this going to be better than the... Oh, my goodness me, there's a river running around the curves. Is this better than damp, though, Andrew?
In some areas, yes, but the standing water, it's so easy. We saw in Q4 to have aquaplaning, which is where there's literally so much water the tyre can't cut through with it, and you almost glide across the top. So you'd hope the spotters and the teams are out looking at the track, watching the RX2 final, and giving feedback to the drivers, so when they do head into the final on that first lap maximum attack, they know, or sort of know, what to expect on each corner.
Ken Block already in the car, umbrellas up. There's Baccarat waiting to jump in, talking to Loeb. He's got the rain jacket on. Can't wait for this. Not long now.
Good job, the Rallycross. And the suspension, everything was Star Wars.
What a weekend in Loheac. You saw some pictures there from stunning sunny conditions which we had yesterday. Fair to say we have not seen the sunshine once today. You've seen umbrellas an awful lot. It is very, very wet. It's just been raining heavily. We've had wet, we've had damp, we've had wet, we've had standing water. At no point has this circuit dried. This is going to be a pretty exciting race, I think. My name is Andrew Coley. Alongside me on commentary is Andrew Jordan, who, of course, is a World RX regular, both in the commentary box and in the driving seat, as well as a British touring car racer. That is a proper rain setup. Good effort. Neil Cole will be reporting from down in the paddock, as always. Looking forward to hearing from him very shortly indeed. Here is where we are at so far this weekend. Kristoffersen took his third top qualifier in a row, but Sebastian Loeb ran in closer than anyone has for a long time. Eckstrom was on the pace, so was Hansen. Solberg a little way off, not really fair to say off when he's in fifth, but Baccarat, Ken Block, brilliant weekend for him. Kevin Hansen, also a fantastic performance. Scheider, Baumanis, Heikkinen and Nittisch have all made the top 12. Everybody else misses out on going any further this weekend. As always, odd numbers go to semi-final one, so Kristoffersen versus Eckstrom in semi-final one. In semi-final two, it's Loeb versus Hansen. All three of the Peugeots in semi-final number two, both the Volkswagen Polos in semi-final one. Neil Cole caught up with Johan Kristoffersen just a few minutes ago. Let's hear what he had to say.
Johan, you've done everything you can to put yourself in the best position in the semi-final. Pole position, front row, you've got Petter behind you and Matthias Eckstrom. Everyone's quite neat and tidy, sensible racing, hopefully.
Yeah, it's top three in the semi-final one in the championship, so we'll see. I will try to make a good launch, and it's very slippery offline, so it's just one line to stay in, so I will just try to have a clean semi-final, and I have some very good and experienced driver on the side of me, so should be okay.
We've seen there's been a little bit of a problem with the starts on the Polo. Is that fully fixed now?
I think my launch in Q4 was pretty good, so I think it's okay.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
I do love how cool Johan Kristoffersen is. We asked him this morning about whether or not he had rain. He's like, yeah, if you want. Oh, I thought your launch wasn't very good. No, I thought it was pretty good. He's just as cool as a cucumber. How cool will he be when we see him in semi-final one? This is what you have got to see in the next hour. Well, coming up for you, first of all, we've got the live World RX semi-finals. Remember, the top three from each go through to the final. We've got the final for the European Rallycross Championship for supercars. And then after that, we have the final, of course, for World RX Round 9 of the championship. They're already down there on the grid, but here is who is lining up where. On the front row, Johan Kristoffersen, the current World Championship leader. Next to him, the current World Rallycross champion. Row 2, Petter Solberg, Kristoffersen's teammate, and Ken Block, good mate. Ken Block having a big weekend here. Timo Scheider and Topi Heikkinen on the rear. Now, don't count them out at the back of the grid. As we've said a number of times, if you watched the first hour of the show, we've seen some rocket ship starts from the back. Ready to race, lights on. Listen to that engine note for the VWs. Here we go, semi-final number one. Green light, bad start, Solberg, great start, Heikkinen's done 3 cars off the line, he's surely going to slot himself into P3, he gets attacked from the rear, Ken Block hits him, it's really unlucky for Heikkinen. We saw the same thing happen earlier on today to a few drivers, but most importantly, the World Championship leader is leading the world champion, and Petter Solberg is close behind.
Really even start across the front row. Solberg again, we've seen that earlier, mobbed. The Scheider goes to the Joker, but unlucky for Topi Heikkinen there. He did a great start around the outside and gets a big whack in the back, so very very unlucky for him. You know, we've seen in these conditions a little bit of sloppy driving at turn 1, and obviously everyone's trying to go in there as quick as Toppy goes.
Toppy gives it
inside
back.
of Scheider.
So
he's trying to get back to Ken Block. This is going to end in tears.
Absolutely, certainly. Scheider gives it back very firmly indeed. Neither of those two are going to particularly like that. I wonder if Hakkinen thinks it was Scheider that gave it to him on turn 1. He won't know. Exactly.
He'll just feel very annoyed about it because he's got a great launch, which we've seen earlier that from the outside of the back row we've seen some people come right the way through, but you can tell, can't you? You can tell in the racing that it's about the top 3. As Solberg ducks out to the Joker, he was catching Eckstrom, so he wants to get some clear air, but it's the top 3 that go through, isn't it? It isn't time. Classic Solberg, wasn't it? Change direction.
Beautiful car control and just popping a curb on each side. Block hasn't joked him, he's now behind Solberg, so Block's off on the inside, so Block's off on the gravel. Hakkinen's dropped back a bit, so Hakkinen's dropped back. Block is gunning it from the commentary position, spinning the car back round. Like the recent Terracana video, that is across all the dirt to get the car back onto the...
The mud is on that corner now, and he's just dragged a little bit more on, but look at this, Christopherson's getting gone down the road, isn't he?
So Solberg now, look how hard he's trying in the background, wants to catch up to Eckstrom. Eckstrom doesn't respond, and Solberg, for me, is already coming back towards the rear of him, so Eckstrom's going to have to joke. What do you reckon the difference is in these conditions? We haven't really looked at it, to be honest, today.
It was just over a second yesterday in the dry. It shouldn't be hugely different, I wouldn't think. But the VWs, look how quick they look. We've seen them being pushed so far this weekend, but have they now switched it up a little bit and found a little bit more pace that they've had up their sleeve?
I think Christopherson anyway is very, very comfortable in these wet conditions. Yeah, he said as much this morning, but he's looked more dominant than he had in the dry. And in the dry, well, Loeb had the better in the dry. Let's just say Loeb, the Peugeot was faster in the dry here, but it does suit their car.
I also think as well, I was chatting to Johan about how straight you've got to drive these cars in this condition. You can't. Yes, it looks slow and it probably feels slow, but you've got to think traction. And does some of his circuit knowledge come into that, keeping it straight, keeping it neat and tidy? But he's just riding a crest of the wave at the minute, isn't he?
He gets so cross with himself when he does make a mistake. He was talking to me as we see Solberg, Christopherson. There is a mistake from Christopherson, so he's not invincible. Solberg trying to find a way past Eckstrom. Eckstrom, I think, holding Solberg up now. We think it's 1.9 seconds for the Jokers. So at the minute, if Christopherson jokes, he'll come back out in front of Eckstrom anyway. So I don't know, do you send him now? Because Solberg is right behind him. Let's see if Christopherson goes into the hairpin. Eckstrom and Solberg, it's whether Christopherson goes Joker. He doesn't. Christopherson takes down the left. Eckstrom does, so Solberg now has got 1 lap to chase down that leader, Christopherson, and see whether or not he can get past. He was 2.4 down, he needs to be within 2.
Yeah, but Solberg's got something to chase here, hasn't he? Johan's the one is coming to every corner first, and he's going to be careful not to make mistakes, but Solberg can actually go flat out, chase him down and see what he's got.
Remember, these guys have recently qualified P1 and P2. Eckstrom super side race from my commentary box window. When they're P1 and P2, they're in separate semi-finals. They can both win their semi. They're both on the front row. This is for a front row grid position in the final. It's very, very important to be up the front to try and defend that position, to have a clean front of your car, to have a good view. Christopherson jokers now.
And he's just opened up the gap, so he's brought himself a little bit of security now. He's brought him 2 to 3 tenths through here.
And he's closer to the barrier on both sides than Solberg was. So accurate. He'll run the car out wide to the line, doesn't even bother. He thinks he's far enough in front. Up and over the curb on the left. It's going to be a Volkswagen 1-2 here in semi-final number 1, and that's going to put both the championship threats through to the final. Christopherson takes the first semi-final from Solberg, and the world champion Eckstrom books a slot on the back row as well. Hakkinen, I think, on a little bit of a go, so that must be surely as a result of all that contact on the first lap. I feel sorry for Hakkinen because from P6 it was a brilliant start, although I do feel he could possibly have shut the door to the inside line a little bit harder. We'll have a look at the replays, Andrew, in a minute. Ken Block crosses the line after a trip through the gravel trap, but I'll be interested to see your thoughts, whether he could have got across further and avoided being outside.
But you don't want to necessarily slam the door because then you will get hit, so you want to give him a little bit of room.
And of course, he wouldn't necessarily have known, but Christopherson takes the win with 6 championship points, as if he needs any more. Petter Solberg 5, Eckstrom 4, then Scheider, Hakkinen and Block. So far for Christopherson, it's another perfect weekend. Neil Cole is with Johan's dad, Tommy Christopherson, so we can hear his thoughts on his son marching towards the World Championship.
Tommy, a couple of slippery moments there for Johan, but whatever has happened, he's made it through to the final and he lights the flag victory.
Yeah, that's great for us. We're really happy with that because we have been thinking a little bit about wet condition, not struggling, but for sure we move forward this weekend and we are very happy with that. So now Johan feels the confidence in the car and we can see it also to the way that he's driving. So it seems very promising for the rest of the day.
And also 1-2 for him and his teammate and team boss, Petter.
That's just perfect, just perfect. It's so a little bit tricky out for Petter from start, but he recovered very good and then he have good speed. So we look forward for the final now, see what we can do.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, here's a look at the replays. Watch for Heikkinen. Brilliant start from the back row.
So look, he comes across.
He couldn't.
It was one of those. Look, there was 4 abreast. He's trying to brave it around the outside, but to be fair to Ken, there was nowhere he could go. That was just one of those things.
From the rear shot, I thought he'd got the 3 of them and could possibly have moved to the inside line, but he couldn't.
That's a risk you take. Yeah. You know, when you're on the back row, you've got to risk it all. Try and go around the outside. That's what can happen. But
you might as well.
Johan really was in a class of his own. This was top. He probably trying to get back to someone. He thought that had tipped in nearly all the way around into the first corner. But Solberg was going quickly as well. You know, there was only a tenth or so in it on absolute best laps between him and Kristoffersson. So looks like we'll still have a race, but he said all along, hasn't he, he's going to help Johan. This was Ken. Blue's not the way in. Looks like there's lots of standing water down there.
Yeah, definitely.
And why not throw a bit more dirt onto the track? And just as you were mentioning how much Kristoffersson kicks himself when he makes a mistake, in these conditions it's so easy to do so.
He can't make that mistake if there's somebody right behind him. And, you know, Solberg could be, Loeb could be in the final. You know, as I say, this is the most vulnerable Volkswagen. Look, they've taken 5 wins in a row. It was Kristoffersson in Belgium, Solberg in the UK, and then 3 in a row for Kristoffersson, Norway, Sweden and Canada. Can they make it 6 victories in a row? Will one of these 2 cars be crossing the line first in the final? You haven't got very long to wait to find out. That was them booking their slots. Semi-final 2 still to come. The umbrellas are down, the rain has stopped again, and I'm sure that'll last for about 5 minutes before it starts. About the same length of time we got before semi-final 2. Well, they're still enjoying themselves despite the weather, and I have to say, what a brilliant turnout. You know, there are plenty of World RX events who'd be pleased with this on a bright sunny day. But to see them all turn out in the wet conditions is absolutely fantastic. Well, a man who's always smiling, whatever the weather, is Andreas Backerud, and Neil Cole is with him on the pre-grid.
It was great to see you have a clean race in Q4 and make it through to the semi-final. What do you do now?
Well, it's a lot of lines up here, and it's going to be a fun one. It's wet, it's slippery, so yeah, let's see what we can do.
You're being moved to the grid, so thank you.
There we go, been sent to the grid. We do like to grab a last-minute interview because you normally get the most sort of passionate quotes there. Either that or you get ignored, one of the other. It's nice to get in there, but they do protect them sometimes, don't they? I mean, sometimes you see the drivers being protected by the team. They don't want to do a TV interview, but we have fantastic access in this championship.
Yeah, and I like Backerud's crash helmet design. It's got all the food he likes in different parts of his brain on his head, hasn't he? So, you know, he's an easy-going guy, isn't he? And it's great to see.
Yeah, I don't understand how he's not enormous. How is he not enormous? He's never not eating. He must
work hard at the gym. Any video I see of him, he's eating.
Yeah. He certainly is. But yeah, he's a great bloke, isn't he? He's really, really nice. He loves this, absolutely loves it. And it's great to see him in the hooligan team. Look at this, though, pulling up to the grid.
Just adds a bit more pressure, I think, to these guys on the front row, that you've got your teammates in these conditions with guys behind that are going to be going absolutely on it into turn 1. Yeah. There's a fair bit of risk there, isn't there?
Nitish rolling up to the line. We head to Riga next, his home race. He really was saying how much he was looking forward to that. It's just something else. It's funny, isn't it, how one person can be here. Like, in some ways, I think Timmy Hansen, he's got all the pressure of Peugeot, but then some of the pressure is released by Loeb taking all the attention within the team, you know, and the media. But that will go Rainis' way when you go to Latvia. But then you also get to ride the wave of the public support and the smiles and the flags and everything. You know, it's a real mixed blessing racing at home. Look at that, it's brutal, isn't it?
Great noise, isn't it? You could see him just modulating the throttle there as he's trying to calm the wheel spin down in these conditions. You can see he's offset his liner. you know, if you're a bang centre in that box, that's where everyone was doing it in the dry, that's where the rubber is, so you can see some of them. And Sebastian Loeb, look on the front of the grid, he's right over to the right, which we saw in I think it was Q3, to try and get off that rubber, because when it's wet, it's very slippery.
It's raining again. It's raining hard again. You can see
that wasn't
there.
5 minutes either.
No, it wasn't. I got that wrong totally. My career as a weather forecaster is over. Oh well. Semi-final 2 coming up. The grid is fully formed for that second semi-final. Let's see how they line up. On pole position is the man that most of the 30,000 odd people here today in the rain would like to see win, and that is Sebastian Loeb. Next to him is the man who won here 2 years ago, Timmy Hansen. Row 2, Andreas Backrud, he won here in 2013 in his first year of supercars. Said it was an absolutely massive win for him. Kevin Hansen doing a brilliant job in the third Peugeot, in front, of course, of all his employers. Baumanis and Nitish on the back row, so it's an all-Latvian rear line in semi-final 2. Green flag is at the front of the grid. It's raised by the marshal. That will raise the pulses of the drivers as they reach down for the steering wheels, the handbrakes, load these fantastic cars up. The ready to race light is on. It will go when we wait for the green. There it is, Backrud creeping in the background, but gets away with it. Fantastic start by Sebastian Loeb. Where's Timmy Hansen going to go? Surely slots in behind. Just enough space. Kevin Hansen gives a little nudge there to Backrud, but I think he gets hit himself from the rear, possibly by Nitish, was it? But he's holding on with a minute to P4. Nitish is in the side of him again, so Nitish alongside Kevin Hansen in the background. Loeb leads from Timmy Hansen. Nitish has got more contact with Kevin. Where's Kevin going to go? And what's that front left tyre off the rim?
Loeb went wide as well there, so that worked out really well for the Peugeot guys, because Timmy didn't quite get as good a start. And yeah, I'm not sure if Nitish is slowing a little bit there, but then Timmy could just cover off behind, tuck in behind Loeb.
Look at Nitish.
Look at that. There's no wipers on that car, is there?
Wipers are out.
We saw earlier what the washing system was going. You can see how good it was, but the wipers aren't going, so that's going to be race over for him, really.
That is such tough luck. So Nitish can't do anything. He's doing brilliantly to keep that car going with zero visibility. You can see the water coming through the washers. It's constant on these Rallycross cars when they switch it on. Then the wiper has to clear it, and it can't. So Nitish is off the back, and so is Kevin Hansen. It was Kevin Hansen who I thought the front left might be down on the way into the Joker, but not sure. It was a glance. It really was a glance. Backward jumps the focus. The car looks big through a section like this.
It looks very big, doesn't it? And physically, when you go and stand near it, it is a very big car. They look to run it very softly, gets very good traction, but on the small, sharp change of direction right through the chicane, it's quite a big car to thread through there. See what this lap time's like. Let's compare it to Kristoffersen.
It's
bad news, yeah, it's well over a second off Kristoffersen's best lap in his semi-final.
On board with Sebastian Loeb. Look how long he has to wait to get on the throttle, Andrew. It's just so slippery out there.
Who is he driving to a pace? Is he trying to limit mistakes? Or does he know he's under pressure as Timmy's gone? So Timmy's going to try and undercut him now. And for teammates, it's probably the safest way to try and race is go split strategy and then sort it out in the Joker lap.
Loeb really feathering the throttle, balancing the car. Hansen has managed to defend from Backrud. So Backrud had a Joker before him, but Hansen comes out in front. So Timmy Hansen pretty much guaranteeing himself a slot in the final. Nitish, you can see at the bottom, hasn't Jokered in 17 seconds off. I'm not even sure if he'll finish the race. I can see him from the commentary position. Nitish is still going round. How he's seeing through that screen, I have absolutely no idea. There is Loeb. Look how clean the front of the car is. He's got perfect visibility, on board with the legend now.
See, I think he's going the Joker there. You can see he holds the lock on a lot more, so I think he's covering off Timmy Hansen now. So within this team, has he got...
He's not standing yet. It's a tight corner at the bottom. He did look like he had a lot of lock on.
So they're probably going to run into the end. But interestingly, his best lap is a 40.9. Kristoffersen did a 39.4 in his semi-final.
1.5 seconds, that's insane, it's massive. So Kristoffersen hooks it up at the start, they're going to be in trouble.
Kristoffersen was 6/10 a lap quicker than anyone else in his semi-final. So is he just in a different class in these sort of conditions?
Is he even human with performances like that? I mean, no, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant bloke, but he's just the calmest person I've ever seen, and that's saying something against Sebastian Loeb. At the minute, looks like Hansen might get Loeb then in the Joker. So Timmy Hansen might get his teammate. Has Loeb responded?
I'm surprised Loeb didn't Joker the lap before. To me, that's normally the safer option. If you know you're a little bit vulnerable on pace as he goes in, but Tim is well through.
He is inside. He was very sideways there. Loeb was very sideways. Timmy has managed to get past Sebastian Loeb at home. And there wasn't the same cheer there would be if Loeb had come out just in front. So Timmy Hansen has managed to get the job done on Sebastian Loeb. Very clever tactics and safely done, Andrew. That's the thing. What are his times like?
Yeah, I think if their Joke had Loeb the lap before, I think he'd have come out in front, because Hansen was on that last lap, he was nearly a second quicker than Loeb. So if they'd tried to cover him off the lap previous,
they'd have made it.
He'd have done it. He'd have got the track position, which would have then equalled the front row start for the final.
There we are. So Loeb then will be starting from the second row.
But then do they do it because they don't want Loeb back in Timmy Hansen up into Backer, and do they do it? You'd love to be in the spotters tower, what's going on internally there.
You can't believe the pressure the spotters are under and the amount of different things they're looking at. Gaps forward, gaps back, where can they do it, where do they want to be in the final? Whatever happens, Timmy Hansen has taken semi-final number 2 from his teammate Sebastian Loeb, and Backer has booked a slot in the final as well. Now Manis crosses the line in 4th place. There's Reinis Nitish with broken windscreen wipers. 650 horsepower and what's it, about 30 centimetres visibility?
Not ideal, is it? Let's be honest.
No, it's not. But he's done well. He gets the car round, and I think unless he's in front... Where's Kevin? Kevin's a long way off the back. Here comes Kevin Hansen now. I was right. The front left tyre's off Kevin Hansen. So that was in the first lap. When he went Joker on lap 1, I thought I saw the rim down the side of the arch. So Kevin Hansen with a puncture, and Nitish there, unlucky not to catch up with him, even with that visibility. But there you go, those two stricken, a little bit unlucky. The 2 third cars, of course, the 3rd car for Peugeot Hansen and the 3rd car for EKSRX won't be going through to the final. Applause from the marshals. Timmy Hansen takes semi-final number 2. Is he going to repeat his victory from a couple of years ago? And Sebastian Loeb do it from row 2. What can Backer do from the back of the grid? Because don't forget, there's some grip back there. You can't put it past him. Well, this was off the line.
Let's try and have a look at Kevin Hansen in the 3rd of the Peugeot. So he's the one who's behind Backer, gives him a little tap. He gets a tap from Nitish. Now let's try and see where the contact happens with his left front to cause that puncture.
So here
him and Nitish are still getting into it back there.
Watching the
back there, a bit of argy, but he gives Nitish a little bit of a whack back there.
There was where I saw it.
Good spot, yeah, puncture from lap 1. And look, you can see Nitish, the wipers were going initially, then they stopped. You can see they were going and then they stopped, so something's gone on those.
His heart will have sunk there when it's a horrible...
You know it's game over, especially with these conditions. It's absolutely game over. Loeb, to me, didn't look like he had great pace there. You know, Timmy took his Joker, then caught him quite quickly.
What was Timmy's best lap time in the end? Timmy's best lap time was at 40.7, which he did twice. This was Nitish with a little trip off. We can forgive him that with that visibility. So he's 1.3 off Johann's best lap.
I think Loeb could have won that.
If
just on Joker strategy. If he'd Jokered 1 lap sooner, he'd have got track position. Look how close that was. Whereas Loeb had lost a second on the previous lap, I would think, with a moment somewhere. So.
We saw it a couple of times yesterday. Joker lap strategy not quite working out for people. We've got one more race in Worlds to come, of course. Timmy Hansen's with Neil Cole right now.
Timmy, a great semi-final win. You've won this event before, and you clearly weren't too scared to overtake the Frenchman at home.
Yeah, Seb is super popular here, and he's made a fantastic race. I saw him make one single mistake in the last corner after I took the Joker, and I think that was the key that I got in front of him. It's so tricky, these conditions, and you really need to be calm. But still, it's quite exciting to lead a semi-final, and as you said, a couple of years back I won this event, and it's something so special. And if we could do it again this afternoon, it would be incredible.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Timmy pulls the gear and disappears back off. They haven't got long to re-prepare that car, of course, because we've got the final still to come for the World Championship. Prior to that, we've got a European Rallycross Championship and Supercar final for you as well. Supercars all the way to the end. Two big races left. The next one will be the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. So we need to have a little look at how we got to that stage. Of course, we've had two semi-finals earlier on today, and this is a very short look at what happened in those, in very difficult conditions, I might add. So this was the first of the semi-finals with Tamas Paukis on the front row, Brinton alongside him, and there was Derek Tohill coming up from row 2. Actually got quite a good start. Nobody trying to go too far around the outside, but just look at the rain, look at the standing water down here, and in the background, contact, people being spun around left, right, and centre. That's Magda Andersson, who was in the mix as well. And it wasn't to end there, so a huge tank battle down the straight for the Peugeots. Contact then on the braking zone. Magda having a look up the inside, more contact again. Lighting the throttle up, that's Guillaume, I think, who's trying to keep it on, and unfortunately, the moment went on for quite a long time, let's say, before it ended up in the gravel trap. Tamas Palkis, though, doing an absolutely brilliant job. Ex-single-seater racer coming through to take the win in semi-final number 1. Brinderson was in second place. Third place for Derek Tohill. Brilliant to see the Irishman through to the final. Another Irishman on the outside. Look for Ollie O'Donovan with this absolutely mega start. And then, unfortunately, Jerome Grosjean seemed to miss the middle pedal and took Ollie out on the way into turn 1. And I think that was a little bit of a shame, because for me, that was a big hit.
We've seen a bit of driving like that, haven't we, at turn 1? But this really kicked off in this semi-final.
It did.
Markland was all right out front initially. The C4 French regular, very quick, obviously, a little bit of local knowledge here, but it started to kick off a little bit. I think this was the beginning of it. The Val, let's watch as he comes out of the Joker, the merge. So a bit of a messy merge. I wouldn't say that was actually anyone's fault there. I think that was just two cars going for one space.
Rustad did well to kick down the barrier.
But Rustad sends it up the inside here. We missed that, but then Val obviously thinks, I'm not having that. Right, let's park you both in the gravel then. So it's a pretty hard racing, and it looked like it was going to be Markland. The Joker lap, I don't know if he just dumped a little bit of time, close merge.
And listen to the crowd.
Tried getting in the back of him, but as you say, the crowd for the local hero as he took the semi-final
I was
win.
up here as he did that, and when he nudged the back of him, the crowd was going, ooh, like they really weren't happy about the possibility of the Frenchman being taken out home. So Mark was probably lucky that he didn't take him out. As you can see, we've got a race on our hands. So Cadadu on the front row. Tamas Palkis is next to him. Cadadu, the French Rallycross champion. So, of course, a handy peddler and knows this circuit well. French flags flying for him. Will Tamas Palkis get him? Can Brinderson get him? We've got Markland as well. And what kind of a result will we had for Tohill from that P6 slot at the rear? We've seen some great starts from there. We have round 4 of 5 of the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars lined up on the grid. Also down the grid, we've got the current Speedway World Champion, Greg Hancock, and he's with Neil Cole, having a look at another fantastic sport.
Greg Hancock, it's a great pleasure to meet you. As a World Speedway champion, you're clearly no stranger to going sideways in gravel, but this is a little bit different, isn't it? Are you enjoying watching this?
Yeah, it's likewise. It's a pleasure to be here too, and to see all this. I mean, watching it on TV is one thing, but to see it live, it's a whole nother spectacle. And these guys, this is intense. I mean, it's Speedway that's kind of on steroids, as one of my buddies said. And these guys are sideways, they're on the asphalt, they're in the rain, and I mean, you got all conditions here.
And is it something you'd ever consider having a go at, transitioning from 2 wheels to 4?
I got to ask some of these guys, Christopherson or Baccarood, or one of these guys that's pretty young too, that wouldn't mind giving me the keys.
And so finally, do you have anyone in particular that you're rooting for, or who do you think is going to take it today?
Well, you know what I mean. I got to say that I think Christopherson's got such a good run, and I've had the pleasure of meeting that kid a couple of times over the years, so I'd like to see him do it. But I don't know, Baccarood's pretty awesome too, and I don't know, they're all monster guys. I like it.
Well, we know that you're recovering from an injury, so we wish you a speedy recovery.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Looking forward to seeing Hancock back on a Speedway bike ASAP. Well, here's a look at the championship standings for you. Anton Markland on 96 points from Brinderson, Rustad, Larsen and Val. Larsen hasn't qualified, so we think that's pretty much dropped him off the championship radar. Markland needs to leave here with a 30-point lead. I'm trying to think, Larsen would have been in terms of count back, yeah, Larsen's the only person who could have had 2 wins at this point. So 30-point lead is what Markland needs from this. Let's see where they are on the grid, and then we can get into the action. On pole, Tamas Palkis from Cadadu next to him. Handed it to some of our regulars in the second semi-final. Markland finishing second to him, so he ends up on row 2. Thomas Brinderson, who's currently in a battle with Oliver Solberg, Petter's son for Rallycross Nordic. Tommy Rustad and Derek Tohill. What can Derek do from there? I hope he gets a brilliant start like we saw from Ollie O'Donovan. We might see a bit more luck of the Irish for him, hopefully, in turn one than Ollie had. Green flag. Let's do this. Round 4 of 5 in the European Rallycross Championship for supercars. Oh, it's a good start there for everybody except Brinderson. Brinderson's gone backwards slightly. Markham has done really well to close that gap up. Cadadou looks like he's gone on the handbrake to try and get around the outside. Contact between him and Markham. Markham's in the side of Brinderson over the curve, but holds on. Rustad is out in the slush on the outside. And it is Tamas Paukis who leads. And Markham's into the back of Brinderson on the brakes. Markham looked, he was out of control from 50 metres back in the braking zone. He pulls it back round and Markham's gone joker. Cadadou and Paukis have gone backwards and Brinderson's in the lead.
It's all kicking off. Cadadou was really aggressive on turn 1, wasn't he? It looked like he got on the handbrake. That then kicked it all off. Markham was pretty feisty, getting it stopped at the hairpin, but it played out all right for him because he's now got a bit of clear air in front because he ducked to the joker lap. What we missed, though, was with Paukis and Brinderson. Did Paukis miss a gear? Did he run wide? Something happened because he had a good gap.
Markham's run wide and Rustad's gone straight up the inside, so Rustad found better traction out of the last corner there, slotted it up the inside, and Rustad, of course, hasn't jokered, so now he's in front of Markland, and it's all kicking off.
Markland just needs to be sensible here.
Yeah.
He's got a good lead in the championship. Yes, you want to seal it here, but the chances are he's not going to. So just be sensible with it, rack up some points.
And he got a reprimand, of course, yesterday, which made it 3 reprimands. That's the first time someone's reached 3 reprimands in any of our championships, and that is a 5 championship point deduction. So, yeah, again, keep a calm head.
Just take what you can get.
Yeah.
If it's been a bit of a crazy race and a bit of contact, just take what you can get. You're not going to win them all. He's probably the quickest on pace. Certainly yesterday he was in the dry conditions. His pace would be kind of top 10 in some. I think in practice when they were all running together, I think he was 8th including the world regulars.
Paukis ran wide, Cadadou looking to come up the outside, doesn't quite make it.
So he's got the pace, just be sensible. Cadadou goes to the jokers, he goes into some clear air now. Good call there, because what you don't want to do in these conditions especially is to sat right on someone's bumper, because you're getting, the intercooler's getting full of dirt, the screen's getting full of dirt. Just get into some clear air.
Brinderson and Paukis are the only drivers now not to have jokered, as we see Rustad comes on the joker and Markland gets back past, so good job by Markland there to take 1 position back. Cadadou is running wide in the corner, there he goes through the shot. Markland might have a chance of gaining on him here, but somehow he finds traction in the C4. Markland gained on him a little bit, but not enough, so Cadadou's made a mistake.
Rustad's got a left front puncture.
Well spotted, Andrew Jordan, so Derek Tohill will be hunting him down in the background. Watch for Tohill trying to get past. Rustad, though, I think, will be quick on the way down to the hairpin. So if Markland finishes behind Brinderson, we're being told he will not be the champion here in France, and he will have to take the fight to Latvia next time out in just a fortnight's time. Here is Brinderson, who has yet to joker. Paukis jokes and comes out in front of Cadadou. Cadadou will want to hold on for the podium here, but this is all about Brinderson. 1 lap to go, I think it is. Sorry, no, 2 laps to go. So he's still got some options in terms of when he jokers.
I think he's going to be close. I think if Brinderson can just stay in this rhythm, he's been very consistent, putting in nice, consistent laps. If he can just keep doing that, I think it's going to be a close merge. Is he going to go now and just cover off Paukis? Yes, he is. Smart move by his joker, by his spotter there. He sees Paukis has gone. So get in the joker and cover him off. Even if you haven't got the pace, just get the track position.
Brinderson, of course, another driver to come up through RX Lights. There's a big hole there on the exit of the joker on the inside. Hadn't spotted that until now. And he gets the job done. So Brinderson has come out in front of Paukis. But Brinderson now runs himself wide, so this isn't over yet. Paukis might take the win, although, of course, this is really about where Markland finishes. He's behind Cadadou as well. Paukis has 1 lap to try and find a way past. It's not impossible in these conditions.
But I think you're banking on a mistake, really. So Brinderson can just not worry about who's behind, just keep it neat and tidy. Do what he does there, get it on every apex, get the good drive off the corner. And unless Paukis gets really aggressive, but he looks racy, doesn't he? He's going to be going for a win here, unless he can sneak it up the inside and maybe just try and squeeze his way into a very small gap. I think Brinderson should have enough.
Brinderson coming around the last right-hander, and this is going to be a real breakthrough victory for him. It's his first victory in European Supercar. Tamas Paukis crosses the line in 2nd place. P3 is going to go to Cadadou, I think it has, and that's going to be very popular locally. Markland is in 4th. Derek Tohill crosses the line 5th, and Rustad is still out there. So Rustad is coming through the final corner now. in the Albertech car. Oh, the front left look completely off the rim. Loads of people here at Rustad this weekend. I've seen them all going around wearing sponsors' jackets. Always fully supported. Fantastic. Good stuff, Thomas Brinterson. He takes the win with it. 8 championship points. Tamas Paukis, Firmin Kadadu rounding out the podium. Great to see a Frenchman on the podium here in France. Of course, Cyril Raymond did the same earlier on today, taking the championship in RX2. We don't think that's enough for Anton Markland to do it here. It's going to go to Latvia. Derek Tohill is P5 and Tommy Rustad is P6. Well, there's a look at the start from the back of the grid, and again, look, Rustad hooked it up nicely from the back. You know, this grid
kicked off here, didn't it?
Kadadu
sent it into there, and then the contact started. But the interesting one is what happened to Paukis, because look, he's got a lot of space here, and he was out of this hairpin that Brinterson got past him.
It looks like he's gone in really deep.
He might have gone in deep
and then
just not get
wide. Well, we don't see it.
We saw that with, I think it was Loeb yesterday, went in really deep, couldn't get the drive off. But all started getting a little bit feisty, but Paukis will kick himself if that was a mistake from him, because he had the pace to win it, but just a small mistake, and these conditions are amplified. You know, it's such a fine line to make mistakes. Markham came out, and you know, it's a good solid point for his championship. Obviously Brinterson will have closed the gap a little bit.
Good drive by Brinterson, continuing of course to be run by JC Race Technic, who ran him in the RX Lights category. RX Lights, of course, the previous name for RX2. So continuing there with a team that he knows and clearly likes, and he's doing well within Rallycross Nordic as well. Fantastic young driver who we'd like to see more of in European and World Supercar. That was where he came out in front of Paukis. Paukis around the outside there in the slippery conditions. Tohill making it across the line. Slightly stricken car for him, and problems as well for Rustad at the rear. So Anton Markland on 99 points. It's an 18-point difference. So, okay, one little relief for him is the 5 points which were taken away for the reprimands wouldn't have made the difference here. So it would have gone to Latvia. Brinterson in second. And then we've got Tommy Rustad, who's 29 points off. So going to be fascinating to see how the last round goes in Latvia. Will Markland play it safe, or will he go for another win? Neil Cole's down on the grid. He's with Rupert and James Grint.
So in the build-up to the final for World RX, it's great to have the Grint brothers here on the pre-grid. In fact, as Kristoffersen starts to take position. First of all, James, you've rejoined URX. We've just seen the final. You weren't in it. Not a great weekend for you.
No, it's been. We've got a new car, and we're working hard to make it faster and faster and faster. But we've never driven it in the wet. We've only done one race before now, and we did some running at Goodwood Festival of Speed. But this was his first proper outing, and it's been a tough learning curve. But unfortunately, it's not been a great weekend for us. But it was great to bring our sponsors like Slater and Gordon down with us to try this new Mitsubishi out. So we're happy. We're kind of happy, but disappointed we didn't get as much running as we wanted. But that's how it goes. That's motorsport, really.
Hopefully we'll see you again. Rupert, it's great to see you out here in all weathers supporting your brother. You couldn't work your magic on him, but how's everything with you? How's your career going, acting-wise, films and stuff?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's been good. I've got a few TV shows coming out. I've just finished a second series of a comedy I've just done. Comes out in November. But yeah, no, it's always good to find some time to come out and see James. It's a sad weekend, but it's been fun. It's a great crowd here, and it's exciting racing. Definitely.
The fans here are amazing. There's just so many of them, and they're so fired up for Rallycross. It's really exciting to be a part of something with such a big following, really. So the French guys really love their Rallycross, and it's so cool to see.
It's great to see you guys here. We're all ready to watch the final, so find some shelter and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
There we are, having a good time along with everybody else here. We've got one race left to go. You can see them in the pre-grid, lining themselves up. Sebastian Loeb, what can he do here? I'll be honest, I'd love to see a Loeb win in France. I'm not going to lie, but I think he's going to need a little bit of bad luck for Kristoffersen for that to happen, personally.
Yeah, it would be great to see him win it, wouldn't he? And Peugeot at their home race. As you say, I think they're going to do something pretty special indeed to beat Johan. We'll see what. I think if Johan gets the start, I think it's his to win easily, if I'm honest.
Supercharge award there from Monster Energy for the fastest reaction time, which is measured by the jump start sensors. Don't be too fast though, otherwise you get an award of an extra joker lap, which isn't anywhere nearly as useful for your mantelpiece. Loeb full concentration mode. This is his practice start, I think. Let's see if we can stay with him, or is he on the grid? No, he's on the grid, my bad. He's already slotted into P3. And Solberg pulls up next to him. So
Solberg's not got anything to lose here, has he?
Nah.
You know, second row outside. Are we going to see a bit of flamboyant Solberg?
Yes,
if he gets a good launch around the outside.
Well, here is the grid for round 9 of the FA World Rallycross Championship from Loheac in France. Johan Kristoffersen is on pole. Can he make it 4 wins in a row? If he can, it is another new record in the World Rallycross Championship. Timmy Hansen has won here before. Could he do it? If Sebastian Loeb did it, they'd go absolutely mad. Solberg's won here before as well. He jumped up and down on the roof. I don't think he'll do that this year. And the back row, Matthias Eckstrom, the world champion, and Andreas Backerud, who is also a previous winner at Loheac. So we have a fantastic lineup for the final. 3 Peugeots. Neil Cole's got Kenneth Hansen. Well, we couldn't hear Kenneth, and they've released the cars. Green light for the final round 9 of the FA World Rallycross Championship. Great start for Backward. He's alongside Solberg already. Ekstrom's up the inside. Solberg plays it safe, comes around the outside. Loeb, a little bit of handbrake, is on the gas, but he's in the gravel as well. So Solberg's down in P5. Ekstrom's in front of him. Backwards into the rear of Solberg. Who's going to joker to get out of this traffic jam? Hansen right up behind Kristoffersen. Timmy's pushing really, really hard. He's into the back of him, but he stays with him on the first lap. Ekstrom goes joker, and Solberg goes with him.
Really close there, wasn't it, between Timmy and Johan? I know they get on very well off track, but there's a win at stake and a win for Peugeot at home in the hands of Timmy Hansen. I think Johan was playing that safe. On the first lap like that, you wanted to get it stopped, get it to your apexes, don't make any mistakes, then try to get to rhythm. Already we've seen him just get out of that danger zone. They'll be telling her on the radio that you've got 1-2 car lengths in hand. You're not going to get a lunge really from that far back.
It's already well playing it safe, because he's lucky that behind him he's got one of, I think, our most gentlemanly drivers in Timmy Hansen. On occasion he has been a bit naughty in the past.
I do think with Timmy, if there's a sniff of a win, he'll send it up there. You know, in a nice way, I mean that. If there is a win on the cards. But Timmy went wide there, so Loeb got under him. So like we saw in the European final, run wide there, you can't get the traction out. So big mistake by Timmy.
So Kristoffersen gets the Monster Engine Supercharge on board. Loeb is now up into P2. Hansen drops to P3. On board now, we must be with Sebastian Loeb. Look at the mud flying up the windscreen. He's chasing down Kristoffersen, but behind him Ekstrom and Solberg are already chasing them down.
Ekstrom's in a strong position. He's the lead car that's joking.
Solberg's off the back. Sorry, Andrew, sorry to interrupt. Solberg's off the back, so something's happened to him. I just saw on the timing screen, and he's dropped off the back of the pack.
Not sure if he had a puncture. He was going a little bit slowly, wasn't he? But Ekstrom being held up here by Timmy. He's going to be on for a podium, but Loeb getting away now. He's getting safe for that second place from Ekstrom.
So Timmy then didn't run into the back of Kristoffersen, who, as you say, I think took it very easy on the first lap, but he has not taken it easy at all since, has he? Look at the gap he's built up already. It's absolutely massive back to Loeb, probably helped by Timmy Hansen's mistake, which has then allowed, you know, a little bit of a double gap effectively.
But then Loeb is 9/10 quicker on that lap. And Loeb's the closest one to them, so he is just in a world of his own at the minute. He's riding the crest of a wave. He's also been very, very at home in the car and at the team. Fair play to him.
Frustratingly, Loeb did a 40.5 the previous lap, so Loeb has got the time. Hansen's got a problem, I thought so. He's really holding Ekstrom up. Ekstrom goes inside, Backerud goes outside, so that's Hansen and Solberg.
That misfiring out the exhaust, you could see the way it was spraying onto the tarmac.
And I believe they're approaching, if they're not already using their last engines, Peugeot Hansen. They get 3 engines per season. There might be an engine penalty coming for Timmy Hansen. We'll have to see. Either way, something has let go in the Peugeot and he won't see the flag. Solberg is still going, but he is going slowly as well. So 2 of the protagonists are out. This is basically about who doesn't get a podium position when the music stops. Eckstrom and Backerud have jokered still, and now Loeb goes. So Loeb into the joker lap. He wants to be standing up there in front of this crowd. The local commentators going nuts. The crowd are holding their breath. Where is Loeb going to come out? He comes out in a pretty easy P2. To be fair, he's way in front of Eckstrom.
So all Johan Kristoffersen's got to do is just be neat and tidy, take it steady. They'll be on the radio, don't take any risks. In these conditions, just hit your apexes, bring it back. He's got a 5-second lead. That's more than enough time to get through the joker.
I'm kind of gutted it's wet, because yesterday Loeb had the measure of, and I think they know that. I think there's been Is it the circuit? You know, is it the conditions? We'll find out soon enough. Of course, we're headed to Latvia, we're headed to Germany, South Africa. I would like to think they've closed the gap to Volkswagen, but at the minute, it's looking like they haven't. Johan Kristoffersson is so far out in front, it is absolutely incredible. He has been breaking records all year long, and he's about to break another. Nobody has ever won 4 rounds of the World Rallycross Championship in a row until now. Kristoffersson takes it in Loheac. Sebastian Loeb crosses the line in P2. The crowd are pleased with that. And it is Eckstrom, the world champion, who takes the final spot on the podium. 4 in a row. Like this, it's now, what is it? It's 6 in a row for VW, 4 in a row for Kristoffersson. Solberg hasn't had a win since the UK, but you know, he's always right up there. But oh my, and this is insane. So it's actually, he's extended his podium record. So it was 6 in a row, was the longest podium run we'd had. Kristoffersson's just gone to 8 in a row. Here comes Solberg round to cross the line with a tyre completely hanging off the front left corner, while his teammate gets his 8th podium in a row in a World Championship, and the last 4 as he chucks it into a donut down the far end of the circuit. The last 4 have been the top step. He looked unstoppable, but there's a chink in the arm, Andrew, yesterday, which I know the other teams want, which I know I want, and I know fans
everyone
want,
wants that, but you can't deny it. At the minute, Volkswagen and Kristoffersson are doing the best job. So if he keeps winning the races, he's doing the best job. Fair play to him. Yes, of course we want to see him being challenged. But any challenge he gets, he overcomes. He gets more wins. He opens up his points championship lead. Fair play to him.
He's a machine. He is a machine.
Tommy, we're used to seeing Johan win these events, but you've reacted quite emotionally to this one. It's quite a big deal, clearly.
Yeah, for sure. I can feel the pressure. We're getting closer and closer to the final end, and for sure this was a very important race. It was very challenging for us when it was with wet condition. So, and it's so really great event also. I mean, in France, it's so big interest. It's so big to win here, and to have these guys together with Jon at the podium with Matthias and Loeb is also something special. So. We have both cars in the final, and I have to say thanks to Petter because he gave so good advice for the setup of the car for this weekend. So it's a big thank to him for the support with the setup.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic to hear that Petter has been supporting Johan with help with the setup. We hear as well that Johan supports Petter with things like analysis of data, because that's one of Johan's strong points, and this is why this team is absolutely brilliant. Okay, so he gets top qualifier, he wins the semi-final, he wins the 4th final in a row, he's got the Monster Energy Supercharger Award. Johan Kristoffersson, what a brilliant performance this weekend in such changeable conditions. Sebastian Loeb yesterday looked like it might have been him at the top of the table. It didn't happen this time, but we've got 3 rounds left to go, and it remains to be seen if that gap has been closed in the dry maybe or not. Remember, Johan was brilliant in the wet last year anyway. Eckstrom takes 3rd, Bakkerud, Solberg and Timmy Hansen. So this was off the start, Andrew. What did you see?
Well, Timmy Hansen on their left, look, he gets really close as anyone got to Kristoffersson, now into the next corner, so they sweep through the fast left, and let's watch.
This was the one where you thought he was quite safe, Kristoffersson. As I say, I think Hansen was quite gentlemanly about not hitting him.
He did get in the back of him, but there's no point hitting someone to get him out of the way because you're only going to get a penalty. So he's letting him know he's there. Come on, get a hurry on. Kristoffersson does just that and gets a hurry on, doesn't he? But, you know, with the Tommy Kristoffersson interview, I was chatting to him earlier, and he said how much that him and Petter really help each other. Solberg there, is that the start of his problem, or is that as a result of the problem ripping the tyre off? We don't know. These conditions are just treacherous, aren't they? So this is on board with Loeb, isn't it? As Hansen ran wide there.
That's interesting. He's past the apex, way past the turning in point when he's gone on the handbrake to go, it's not going to turn in, and has managed to get that. But then again, had he already got this problem, which we've seen, you know, was there something else underlying?
It could well be, and it just hasn't been able to pull it out of the slide. But on board, some debris there as Loeb over both the curbs. Great result for Loeb at home, you know, to still be on the podium, really impressive, just not quite enough.
Listen to just how long they're having to wait to get on the throttle, and you have some idea of how slippery it is on this circuit. Every inch of it and a bit more. Look, they've been using the gravel on the inside of the curbs too. Not Johan Kristoffersson though. Look, perfect. Pop it on the left, pop it on the right. Clean front end to the car. It's another win for Volkswagen. Another win for PSRX Volkswagen Sweden. Another record broken for Johan Kristoffersson. Absolutely brilliant. He deserves this championship. He absolutely deserves it. He's not won it yet. No, he's not won it yet. but he does deserve. There we go. Yes, Johan. There we are. The #1 finger salute for the first place on the top of the lid, on top of the roof, on top of the world. Crowd are starting to leave. Not going to lie, they have to wade through some mud to get out. It's got wetter and wetter and wetter. It could not be more different than it was yesterday. Beautiful sunshine yesterday. We're going to ride on board with Sebastian Loeb, lovely French flag flying on the left there, to represent where we're headed. We're going to ride on board with the legend as he heads out through this first lap of the Loheac final.
You can look, trying to limit the wheel spin off the line. His teammate's there, so he's not going to really be aggressive. A little tap in the back of Timmy, though, just as it all closes up on the brakes. You can hear how gent he's having to be with the throttle. He's got his wipers on, got the washer on, trying to clear that mud. Then short shift a little bit, try and kill the wheel spin. It's all bottling up a little bit in front. That's where Timmy's quite aggressive, just giving Johan the hurry up. Get the car turned again, the wheel spin. So much horsepower, 600 horsepower, and just look how much dirt's being thrown up. That's one of the advantages of being out front as well. You've got the clear screen, you haven't got the distraction of the wipers, the washers, when you turn them on, when you turn them off.
They're all small things, aren't they? But they, you know, they do add up. It sounds like to which mean the
this sort of
wipers,
speed,
but
absolutely.
it is,
It's such a busy lap, you don't really have any time to relax or think. You know, you're
swept
just
portion
so
of the screen
focused.
too. You need 360-degree vision, don't you? Particularly when you're sideways. Remember, there are no wipers on the side windows, and there's dirt flying up the side of those. When you're coming through a corner and you're looking through the apex, and you can't see the reference points that you can see when the screen is clear. Makes a difference. But there's Hansen. So you say maybe at that point the engine had already. So well,
Yeah,
if it was empty, we don't know what it was.
offline, it's so slippy. You know, a few people said if you just go in a little bit too hot, get offline, you then just struggle for traction. But this was Kristoffersson just bringing it home, and the car looks a dream to drive, doesn't it? He's obviously feeling so at one with it. It just absolutely looks a dream to drive. Just nice and steady on the last lap. Turn it in, get it straight, get the traction, drive it off. Minimal risk through here. He just clips both the curbs. You don't want to slow down too much though, because then you lose concentration. So you've got to keep pushing to a degree. But they'll have been on the radio at this point, like, look, it's in the bag, just be steady. Don't do anything silly.
Please don't do anything stupid, Don't make the commentators go nuts.
It was so cool seeing his dad emotional, though. You know, they're doing it as a father and son, and they're on the cusp of winning a world championship. How
It's
cool
the
is
dream,
that?
isn't it? It's the dream. It's the dream. I know you did your British Championship title in touring cars with the family team, and there's something special about it.
I think it sometimes means a bit more because everyone's pulling for you, everyone in the family is pulling for you. And obviously Tommy Kristoffersson's got a huge background in the sport as well, so super special for him to be sharing that with his son. And yeah, he got a bit emotional, but it's probably that he's watching his son on top form, dominating a world championship at the minute.
Incredible. It's incredible. Absolutely brilliant job by Kristoffersson. And a round of applause for the crowd as well, I think, for sticking around in such atrocious conditions. Well, another brilliant final here in France. Third place went to Matthias Eckstrom, and he is down with Neil Cole now. We can have a catch up with him.
Matthias, it's been a dramatic day's racing today, but it must feel good to be back on the podium again.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, we said in Canada, we had all set up, but then I did a mistake in the semi-final, so we didn't get any trophy there, and we said we'll fight back in Loheac and try to get one here. So I'm very pleased to my guys that we finally can bring a trophy to them, and it was a hard battle all weekend with Seb, with Johan, but we didn't really have the pace on them, not in the dry, not in the wet. So I think the result to finish P3 is very fair for me, and also fair for the other two guys, because in the end the best man won and we got what we deserve, so I'm happy.
Good, thank you, enjoy the podium.
Cheers.
Thumbs up from Eckstrom there. Here are the championship standings. So 41 plus 5 is 46 championship points. I wonder if he might have enough to have 2 events in the pocket. It could be done in Latvia. Could be done in Latvia. Big ask, though, against that field. Solberg, Eckstrom, Loeb, Hansen, Backer, block, Hakkinen up into 8th. Who's Neil with now?
Sebastian, the dream would have been a win at home for Peugeot as a French driver, but it didn't happen. You must still be very pleased to get a 2nd place.
Yes, for sure. It was a good race for me. I did 2nd in quali, 2nd in semi, and 2nd in final at the end. So it was good. We improved. It was closer from the Volkswagen. In the final, it was still unbeatable, but we had a good race. No big mistake. Good feeling with the car. even in the wet, because I was a bit afraid of the condition of today. We know we are not really fast sometimes in this kind of condition, and finally we were still here. So it was a good news this morning, and a pleasure to be here in Loheac. The atmosphere was great all the weekend, a lot of supporters, just amazing to drive here.
Merci, thank you very much. Good.
Loeb looking happy enough. We know he wanted to be on the next step of the podium, but to be fair, he's had 3 thirds in a row. That's a second place, and as I say, they did threaten the team that is ahead of them in the standings. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden with a commanding lead over Team Peugeot, Hansen and EKS. Our winner, our record breaker, 4 wins in a row, 8 podium finishes in a row, Johan Kristoffersson, is with Neil Cole.
Johan, you utterly dominated that final. It was an incredible performance, and it's another win. You've broken another record in the World Rallycross Championship. How do you feel?
Fantastic. First of all, big thanks to the team. It's just the performance of the car today was... I feel so comfortable in the rain, and I think it's the first time I felt that comfortable in the rain. Maybe we're not that much quicker, but on the other hand, it's so important to be confident in the car. And Petter also did an amazing job. We really find the right way to go on the setup already on Friday in the wet, and yesterday in the dry, the Peugeot and Sebastian was really flying. So, but today has been my day again here in France. So yeah, just amazing. And the championship lead, 46 points. It's big thanks to everyone that makes this happen.
And for you personally, this is one step closer to every young racing rallycross driver's dream. It's a world championship.
Yeah, of course, that's the aim, and the aim has been for the team to win the team championship from the beginning, and we have been working very well together. And I would never be here without the team and without the help from Petter. He's so generous with giving me all the information and so on, and I'm just taking all the advantage of it. And it's a lot of people behind why I'm standing here, so I'm just so thankful.
Enjoy the trophy and the podium.
Thank you very much.
Johan Kristoffersson looking very, very happy indeed. He's so calm and collected and with it, Andrew. He just seems to have an enormous amount of spare capacity to deal with the things which come at him, like the hold-up in Canada, like the rain here. Yeah, you said to me this morning, even you were like, okay, wow, he's just so calm, isn't he?
We were
I know you see him a lot, but
and he was just so chilled out, just enjoying it, and that's probably the best way to be, isn't it?
Top step of the podium, Sebastian Loeb up to P2.
Finishing on place number 3, Matthias Eckstrom.
And Matthias Eckstrom up to P3. Apparently 75,000 fans over the course of the weekend. I think we had quite as many today as we normally do, and that is understandable because it would have been literally like standing under a cold shower all day long. So for the 30-odd thousand, definitely or more that were here, that's pretty incredible. Yes. So they've got a shelf for those in PSRX Volkswagen Sweden. And
Let's get a bigger one.
Yeah, we saw it, didn't we? It's full, literally. He hasn't even got the Supercharger awards on there. He's about to get that in a minute as well. It's bonkers, the number of trophies he's picking up. It really is. Well done, Sebastian Loeb. Q2 yesterday, I thought we had this. I really thought we had this. He was on a mission. I spoke to Kenneth Hansen earlier and I said, is this, you know, we're going to see this more this year? And he said, look, he said, I think Latvia suits that car. He said, I think Buck's do. Of course, South Africa's an unknown. We're looking forward to going somewhere new. So, you know, let's hope that they are a bit closer, because it's been great, hasn't it? You know, to see people, to see Johan having to push. He's made a couple of mistakes this week because they're closer. Which, you know, I want to see
have that question, isn't it? Of can the Peugeot, can the Audi, or can the Ford get in there with them? But as we said, you know, at the minute he's the one doing the best job with the car. To me, he looks the best. So he deserves to win as he gives Loeb a soaking.
There we are. Good effort. Oh, he's just put it straight. Yes, Eckstrom. See, Eckstrom had some in reserve there to get Kristoffersson with. Ching and a little drink. Monster Energy Girls up onto the podium. Been stood out in the rain all weekend. Fantastic performance. What a lineup. 9-time World Rally Champion, current World Rallycross Champion, and I think probably this year's World Rallycross Champion, centre of your picture. But there are 3 rounds to go, and it's going to be fun, whatever happens. Another great weekend of action then from the World Rallycross Championship. The weather didn't let us down in terms of mixing things up a little bit. Toppy Haken, unlucky, had a brilliant start in his semi-final. I thought he was going to get all the way around the outside. Didn't. Had a good job at fighting back, but it didn't happen for him. Ken Block as well. Big shout to him for yesterday. His performance in Q2 was exceptional. Seeing him drive better and better. He's made every single semi-final this year. There's only 4 people have done that coming into this round. What's he going to do for the rest of the season? He really enjoys this sport. It's a pleasure to have him along. Brandis Niertisch with the windscreen wipers failing. Bit of a disaster for him. That was him passing Kevin Hansen, who had a tyre off the rim. I think he then made a mistake and dropped back behind him, if I remember correctly. There was the Supercharger Award ahead of the final. Andrew Jordan, great to have you back this week. It's the last time you're with us this year. Obviously looking forward to seeing you back. Hopefully with us in the commentary box next season. But I hope we might see you on the grid as well. I know you're still busy with touring cars, but great to have you along. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been a blast.
Hansen dropping it, spinning out wide. Out front, though, no problems for Kristoffersson. We keep saying it, but he's breaking records left, right and centre. We get to see whether he might wrap up the World Championship in a fortnight's time in Latvia.